Stuck him with that
Listen,
one.
listen. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this. Ready for this? Ready for this? I'm telling you this. All that blowout stuff, I'm telling you right now, when you step on the court as a competitor and you know now it's, oh, shoot, them little young boys is over there running their mouths. They think they got us. I'm telling you, that competitive spirit is going to come in and that game is going to be taken more serious than what you're giving it credit for.
They don't never take the
Maybe
All-Star game serious, no matter what credit, what beef they have, none of that, bro. Never. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of From the Sideline podcast. I'm Troy, and you guys know I got my trusted co-host Pete with me. How you doing, Pete?
What's up, brother? What's going on?
Nothing much, man. We chilling, man. We back for another episode. We got 2 guests in the house. We're ready to get it popping. We might only have one again. Who knows? Stuff happens between getting the guest in here and us doing this opening message.
We always make it work.
Always make it work. But yeah, we just want to thank you guys over on YouTube. I'm still working on the Apple Music and I'm working on Google podcast platform too. We're getting the podcast up there. So I will definitely let you guys know when that stuff is up there. But without further ado, let's kick it to Pete. So Pete's opening message.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so guys, we're going to talk about something that's super popular right now. Everybody knows about, and you know what? It should be talked about. The dude is a straight legend, okay, in Steph Curry, okay? Steph Curry is 1 3-pointer away from tying Ray Allen's record for most 3-pointers all time. And what is so crazy is the fact that he was able to do this with so many more games left in his career to go. It's like when it's all said and done and he retires, you could almost say could possibly be an unbreakable record because this dude shoots so well and he has so much career left in front of him that like the number is going to be astronomical when it's all said and done. Really cool that everybody knows that Madison Square Garden is the most famous arena in the world and he plays there tonight against the Knicks. He only needs 2 to pass Ray Allen, which we do know he's going to get tonight. But his last 2 games have been against the 76ers and the Pacers. He scored on Saturday night 3 3-pointers against the Sixers, and he got 5 3-pointers last night against the Pacers. And the one thing I'm going to say about it is I like what Steph Curry did, okay? When I watched that Sixers game a couple nights ago, I felt like he wasn't forcing the issue. He was passing the ball. He was taking layups. He was going to the basket. He was letting the game come as it came to him and not forcing threes, even though we know if anybody can force a 3 that's off angle with 3 guys in his face and still make it, it's Steph Curry, but he didn't play that way. And why should he play that way? You're going to break the record. What's the difference if you break the record in 3 games, 2 games, or 1 game? Sure, you break it in 1 game. That means you made 10 3-pointers in 1 game. Sure, everybody's going to go crazy because you made 10 3-pointers in 1 game. But in the grand scheme of things, who cares? You're out here playing team ball for your team. It's not all about you. It's about the team. And I love the fact that he was out there, not just chucking threes and going crazy and this and that, just to force a record into 1 game that could easily be done in 2 or 3 games. He got another 5 3-pointers, like I said, last night against the Pacers. So he's right on pace to break this record tonight against the Knicks. He is going to do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The man will make 2 3-pointers. He'll probably have 4, 5, 6, 7 possibly. What's really cool is I feel like if you can't break the record at home in Golden State amongst your fans, why not break it in the most famous arena in the world in Madison Square Garden? That place is going to be electric. That place is going to be sold out. I don't care what Knicks fans say or whatever. You better stand on your feet and clap for this man when he hits this record because this is well deserving. Steph Curry is an ambassador of basketball. It doesn't matter if he doesn't play for your team. The man's game, you can only help but not. You have to respect it. You just got to respect it, man. It's a beautiful thing to watch. It's a work of art, and I've enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing another 10 years or however many years that Steph Curry has in front of him to keep adding to this number and adding to this number and adding to this number. And it's just been a beautiful thing to watch. And like I like to say all the time, when something good's coming on, it means one thing: must see TV. And that's what we have on our hands tonight when Golden State blows the Knicks out the water and Steph Curry gets this record tonight. So looking forward to it and can't wait.
But yeah, thank you, Pete, for that opening message, man. But before we get these guests in here, we haven't done this segment in a while, and the guests have only been on one other time, so we're not gonna have them do it with us. But it's the segment you guys know. I hope you guys love. It's pat yourself on the back. You feel me? You know. So Pete, I'm gonna start it off, man, because I got two today. I got two, Pete, and it's simple. It's simple. All right. I told you guys that Kyler Murray was hurt weeks ago. I told you guys he was hurt. He was like, no, coach is just seeing because the backup quarterback, he did good. They're gonna let him play. No, Kyler was hurt. Ain't no rest. And he showed it in yesterday's game. All right. He showed it. All right. Came up short when he should have won that game against the Rams. They're supposed to be the best team in the NFL right now. Didn't show it last night against a team that's struggling. Pete. They struggling. All right. All right. But the most one I want to get to is this. Man, I wish GK was here, and GK gonna be here next episode. So we're gonna get into it. All right. But GK, bro, what's up with your boy? I gotta pat myself on the back for telling you your boy ain't real, bro. Your boy went into the game Sunday, went up 24 points in the first half, and didn't drop another single point in the second half. And then
that bad shoulder. He's got that bad shoulder.
Nah, bro, nobody cares about that. JPP got how many fingers? I don't care about that. You get out there, you do the job. All right, Baker ain't doing the job. He let almost a backup quarterback come back and beat him yesterday. All right. They almost lost that game to a backup quarterback. Lamar went out. We're gonna get to Lamar's, injury a little later in the show. But Lamar went out. And Baker, what did you do? You didn't take advantage of Lamar going out. That defense took it, was like, all right, our front man down. All right, let's smash him. And they almost got it done. They almost got it done, Baker. You got this good team, good offensive line, good defensive line, good running core. I don't know what's going on with Nick Chubb lately, but the guy doesn't seem like teams figured him out. They know how to stack the box against you guys. Like, that's it. Baker. I was talking to GK last night, man. And he said Baker's still on his rookie contract. And I told him this is last contract. All right. Pete, what you got, man?
That's tough to follow, man. No, yeah. So I said in a couple episodes ago, we do 2 episodes a week. That was 2 episodes or 3 episodes. I'm a little lost. But regardless of that, I told y'all, Alabama over Georgia, upset watch. And the reason why I said that too is because we all know over the last decade in college football, it's been an Alabama thing, okay? Alabama, Clemson snuck in a national championship here and there. I think LSU snuck in a national championship here and there. But for the most part, Alabama has dominated college football over the last decade. And when you have a team like Alabama that is coached by probably the best college coach over the last however many years, and Nick Saban, when you happen to see that they are an underdog when they are never, ever, ever, ever an underdog against whoever it is they play on whatever stage it is, national championship, SEC championship, doesn't matter what game it is, Alabama is always the favorite. So when you see this once in 5, 6, 7, 8, 10-year time that Alabama happens to be the underdog, you have to jump all over them and take advantage of that bet because Alabama is so good. That means that they could probably pull the upset. And sure enough, not only did they win the game, they won the game 41-24 against Georgia, who was nationally ranked number 1. Now, Alabama takes the number 1 spot going into the 4 teams left to go for a national championship. So great to Alabama. I called it. There's a little pat on the back. I knew Georgia was in trouble, man. Alabama's just too good. Nick Saban is too good of a coach. He was going to have those boys prepared for that game to win that SEC championship game. And because of the fact that Georgia was ranked number 1, they could actually afford to lose the game more than Alabama could because since they were ranked 1, they didn't have to drop too far back, which would have then knocked them out of the whole 4 teams left in the national championship. So the loss didn't affect them too much. It just changed the seeding around, but they still lost the game. And now Alabama leaps everybody and goes into the number 1 spot, which, and honestly, arguably, you could say maybe Alabama should have been there anyway. They had one loss on their resume. Georgia had no losses on their resume. But you know, in college football, wins and losses don't matter too much when it comes to the ranking of the teams. It's more about your strength of schedule. But regardless of that, Alabama's now number one. Alabama should be number one. They've been the top team over the last decade, like I mentioned, with Nick Saban being the head coach and everything. And you know what? I hope you had money on that game and you had Alabama to take advantage of it. There are certain teams when it comes to sports, whether you're talking college or professional, that when they happen to be an underdog on this rare occasion, you take advantage of it and you bet on them because you know they're such a good team. They probably have no business being the underdog. Give you a quick little example, maybe a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. We know the Kansas City Chiefs have been dominating football over however many years. If there's a rare night that they make the Kansas City Chiefs an underdog, you jump on it and take advantage of it because probably it's only based on maybe one injury here or there or something like that. But if you got Pat Mahomes back there at quarterback and they're an underdog, you jump all over them because you know Kansas City can pull that upset because they're that good of a team. So like I said, kudos to Alabama. Pat yourself on the back moment because I had a feeling and I knew Alabama was going to come to play and they were going to knock off that number one seed, Georgia, in the SEC championship game. And maybe they'll meet each other in the national championship and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I just got an alert on my phone that Lakers are open to trading Westbrook and Nets are open to moving Kyrie.
Interesting stuff.
So it's we're going to stay up on top of that. We're going to see what
There's
Ben
a lot
doing.
going on.
We're going to have an episode for it because Ben, Kyrie, and Westbrook all might be moved around the same time. Not saying in the same trade, but they might be moved around the same time.
Right.
Hopefully we can get them moved in that same right before the episode so we could talk about all of it. But yeah, we're gonna get the guest in here now and we catch you guys when we get back. All right, guys, we back in. Like I said in the intro, it was supposed to be 2 guests. Now it's 1. You never know what goes on in that time. I'm trying to get the guest in here. But yeah, we got Roy back in the building. What's up, Roy? How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm back. I guess I was okay enough to come back, so I did something right?
Yeah,
no, but it's good to be back, man.
Good we appreciate you being here, man. Roy's gonna be a big part of the podcast, man. So we want to thank him and welcome aboard and tell him that we just appreciate it, man. And so it's gonna be some fun times ahead. You know, once we start getting to know each other better and building bonds and working off each other's energy. And yeah, let's just do it. But, you know, we don't like to waste time. So we're going to jump right into the first topic. I'm going to ask a question. And Roy, you know we got to start with you. Maxey versus Quickly. Who you got?
So, I mean, I'm going to give you, I don't know. I've put a lot of thought into this one because if we're going just based off of stats, you know, I like Maxey a little bit better. But I don't know. It's just something about Quickly playing. I just like how he plays, man. I mean, you got to look, they both came out of Kentucky, right? Same year. But I mean, Maxey averages almost 16 and a half per game, while Quickly only averages 9.6 per game. So I like Maxey here. More assists per game, more rebounds per game. 3-point percentage is a little bit higher. Only thing that I would say Quickly has over Maxey is just his free throw percentage, because I mean, Quickly has always been just an amazing free throw shooter. But I'm gonna have to ride with Maxey, man. I mean, he's so pivotal for the 76ers, especially since, you know, Ben Simmons is not there right now. So he's really stepped up and helped take over that point guard role.
I agree. I would take Maxey too, but I want to go a little bit deeper into the context of what you're saying. You got to remember that 16 points is coming off of 34 and a half minutes playing time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Quickly 9.6 points is coming off 21 and a half minutes. So that's a big difference in minutes where Maxey has more time to score. Quickly's in and out of that Nets rotation because they have other point guards there. Whereas Maxey is the front runner for the 76ers right now because they have no Ben Simmons. Pete?
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't have to repeat what either one of you said because I feel like on this topic, we could all pretty much put our notes together and come up with the same answer about this, because when it comes down to it, Maxey has more responsibility on his plate right now. He's the starting point guard for the Sixers, whereas Quickly is not needed to do as much, okay? With Derrick Rose, Alex Burks now being in the lineup and stuff, Quickly just doesn't have that much responsibility. Now, at the same time, Quickly is still a big part of the Knicks. They really like Quickly. He's a nice spark off the bench. I'd even go out on a limb and say, and it's not that I watch a lot of Sixers games, but I would even go out on a limb and say, I've actually watched Quickly hit some pretty big shots in between last season and this season in crunch time and some big clutch shots. So I could even say maybe Quickly might actually be the more of the big game shooter, even though that's not even fair to say when we're basing it off of just a season and a half. But when it comes to numbers and points, absolutely. Maxey has way more chances to prove himself based on the minutes that he's able to play. He's a starting point guard for a team. And to stay in that starting rotation, you need to get minutes and you need to put up numbers. And he's been doing that. I don't want to say Ben Simmons who, because he's not Ben Simmons and they do two completely different things. But I mean, I much rather trust him shooting the ball than I do Ben Simmons. And I never really even looked at Maxey as too much of a point guard. But you know what? That's why Doc Rivers is paid the big bucks, because he saw and knew that this was the right kid to give the opportunity to. And Maxey has completely exceeded, completely above expectations, and has completely ran away with this. He looks good at the position. When it's all said and done, he's probably more of a hybrid 1-guard, 2-guard type of guy. But you know what? He's getting the job done. The Sixers are still getting wins here and there. Joel Embiid's playing a lot better, and the team is just super, super high on Maxey. So just based on the fact that Maxey gets the most minutes and is able to prove himself more on the court, it's safe to definitely go with Maxey. But both players have huge upside, and if Quickly keeps playing the way he's been playing, you never know. There might be a starting role in his future as well.
Anything to add, Roy?
No, I mean, I like how you ended that, man. I think Quickly, I think you could see his role develop a little bit more here. I mean, like how you said, with the minutes that he's getting, he's been efficient with the time that he's had, and maybe that role expands in the future. I mean, obviously being a young guy, I mean, obviously he has more longevity than Rose and all those guys there. So maybe that's a potential building block for the future. I mean, maybe you don't want to throw him into the fire too quickly, let him develop a little bit, get some experience there. And I think, Quickly can easily emerge into a role kind of like similar to Maxey in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're all on the same page here. I mean, ain't nothing else you can say. But let's move on. I didn't put it on the doc, but I did watch the game yesterday. I'm a Boston fan. Boston versus Bucks. Boston come out on top. Lovely game, bro. I love the way Boston played the Bucks. I love the defense they played. I love how they got to the paint to stop Giannis and then still got back out to the man on the three-point line and contested shots. I loved it. It was they put effort out there. They really played good defense. And when they got the lead, they didn't look back, bro. And Tatum went off for 42, and it was amazing, bro. Amazing. Brown had 17 or 19. And then Grant Williams Brown had 19, Grant Williams had 17, which was amazing. He's becoming a knockdown corner 3-point shooter for us. So I love to see it. I think Boston has a bright future. I think we're still going to struggle because we still got to figure out our full identity, but I think we're in good hands, man. I like our coach. I like the things that he's doing. He's trying different stuff. I think we're back at 500, probably at either still 10th or 9th in the conference, but I think we'll get there. I think we can still finish 5-6 seed.
What about your center too? What's his name? The center over there.
What? Williams? The other
Williams. Other Williams.
Yeah, Robert Williams. I
mean, they lost to the Lakers the other night.
I think he had a block last night too. That was a nice block.
They watched him lose to the Lakers a few nights ago, but I watched him dunk on Anthony Davis with an alley-oop about 3 or 4 times on him, man.
Robin is like that, bro. And that's why when they let go of Thaddeus, or what is his name?
My goodness.
Daniel Tice.
Daniel Tice.
I always say Datus. Sorry, man. But yeah, when we let him go, I understood Robin had a lot of upside to him. So I mean,
he's a high flyer, man.
And the Celtics took a risk on him in the draft. I mean, remember him coming out of college, coming out of Texas A&M. I mean, there was questions about his character and just his drive. And I mean, Boston's a no nonsense city. So they took a risk, and obviously it's working out for them so far. I think he's going to develop and be he's going to continue to get better. Yeah, he's in a good position.
I knew it was a matter of time before he cracked that starting lineup, and it's great to see him in it. You mentioned Tatum's 42 points. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I'm putting together a team of young guys, hands down, Tatum's on that team, man. When it comes to young superstar talent in this
Some people
league.
don't think so though, but they don't. They
Well, they're out
give
their
Tatum
mind.
the respect.
They're out
bro.
their mind.
He
Listen,
came in
even
a
if you want
rookie
to
and
say,
got to the Eastern Conference Final.
Yep.
Listen, I'm gonna put it like this. I mean, if I'm putting a young team together, Tatum's in my starting five. I'm being real. But at the same time, okay, if you don't want to put him in your starting five, that's fine. But you can't tell me out of the young talent in this league, Tatum is not on your 12-man roster. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Okay. And I get it. The young talent is plentiful in our league, with your Luka Doncic and your Trae Youngs and all. I get it. Tatum is on that team, man. Absolutely 100%.
I would have all three of those
deal.
guys you just named on the team.
Agreed.
Absolutely. That's why I named him. Yeah, 100%. 100%, man. You know, and just off topic real quick a little bit. I've been saying it for a while now. Because this all-star format that we do when it comes to basketball right now, I'm not like the biggest fan of it, you know, with the picking the teams and, you know, they tried it out or whatever. I kind of like the East-West format and things like that. But you know what? If I was able to talk to the commissioner of basketball, Adam Silver, I would tell him, why not try this? Why not do 30s versus 20s? All your veterans that are in this league that are in their 30s. Why not
sophomore game? They've been doing that.
No. Rookie sophomore is rookie.
That's the concept,
year players.
But that's the same concept. It's the same concept. You're just putting younger players against older players.
Okay,
the concept sounds better, right? That concept sounds better because now you got youth going against youth instead of old guys going against youth.
Listen, I'm talking about a
in a game that really don't mean nothing. That's all I'm saying.
Well, so hear me out on this, right? Ready for this? NBA players are all about bragging rights. And you can't tell me for an all-star game that if you got all your 30-year-olds, your Kevin Durant, your Steph Curry, your LeBron James, they wouldn't want to let these young boys know that even though we're not retired yet, we'll put the work on you. I feel like in the years past, which is why I feel like in the years past, the reason why the All-Star game format has changed is because we kept seeing too many blowouts, 175 to 125, and the game wasn't as entertaining or whatever. I'm telling you right now, NBA players care, and they do not want a bunch of 20-year-olds saying that, you know what, this is our league right now. And I feel like if you put 20s versus 30s, they would take that game so seriously for bragging rights to let them know, listen, the guard has not changed yet. Us 30-year-olds still got it. Or the 20-year-olds want to say, you know what? We got it. You old men need to retire. We better than y'all right now. And I just think if you tried it for one season to see what it is, it actually might get good ratings and people might actually like it.
Did you like the year when Anthony Davis ended the All-Star game on a free throw?
Oh my goodness.
No. So ready for this? Ready for this? That's because now they do this stupid thing where once you hit a certain amount of points, the game is over. I don't like that. I don't like that.
You just said people got tired of seeing 175 to 120.
That's because they play no defense, though.
What
I mean,
do
like,
you
play no
want them
defense,
to
yeah.
do, right? Because it's not. That's what I'm saying. Is not that important of a game for LeBron in year 19 to go out there and be like, I got to prove something to these young cats. He has nothing to prove. There's nothing for KD to go out there and be like, I need bragging rights over these 20-year-olds. No, they do it. And the bragging rights come from in the season, bro. The bragging rights come from in the playoffs when they go against these guys. Like when they meet up in the playoffs, bro, if they got to stick each other and they should, that's bragging rights, bro. You can't stick me. Kobe used to say it all the time. Michael used to say, this guy can't guard me. That's bragging rights. Being in the All-Star game, being in the All-Star game where you have year 19, year 17, year 16 players playing against 2-3-year players, there's still going to be a blowout either way, which way you look at it. Because LeBron, Steph Curry, and KD still going to blow the young cats off the floor. Because they're more fundamentally sound. They're veterans. They understand the game more. Their IQ is high. You're gonna have Steph Curry throwing lobs to KD and LeBron, while Anthony Davis is coming from the backcourt to catch the ball off the backboard and shoot a three. Like,
so listen. So when you talk about, so obviously I see how passionate you are about what you're thinking and how I'm talking. This is obviously going to be a subject that we're going to have to agree to disagree on. Okay.
No, I mean, then that's fine.
Exactly, absolutely. But all I'm saying is, like, when you talk about bragging rights,
so you think the young kids will beat the veterans?
Stuck them with
listen. I'm telling you this. Ready for this? I'm telling you this. All that blowout stuff. I'm telling you right now. when you step on the court as a competitor and you know now it's, oh shoot, them little young boys is over there running their mouths. They think they got us. I'm telling you, that competitive spirit is going to come in, and that game is going to be taken more serious than what you're giving it credit for.
They don't never take the
Maybe
All-Star game serious, no matter what credit, what beef they have. None of that. They'll never. They have fun.
Roy, what do you
That's
think?
what the game is for.
What do you think, Roy?
I'm on the fence about it because I'm hearing both points of view. I mean, y'all both make sense. Like I understand what y'all are saying. I gotta
How about this
say,
as a viewer, Roy? As a viewer, would that be something exciting to watch?
I would watch it. If it's the first time they were doing it, I would watch it just to see how much effort's really put into it.
And I'm not saying it's not going to be exciting to watch, but I'm saying the veterans are going to blow the young cats off the court. If you don't believe that, that's crazy.
I think they would.
So I think that, yeah, when you're talking
LeBron,
about LeBron,
KD, and Steph Curry, those three.
Yeah,
we didn't even say Giannis yet.
Yeah,
but Giannis is not in his 30s. Giannis is in his 20s.
That's true.
He would be with a group of 20 guys, 20-year-olds. Luka Doncic, Tatum. Come on, I can put together a squad of 20-year-olds to go against a squad of 30-year-olds.
But who is going to match up against LeBron, KD, and Steph Curry?
So you already know what's going through my head, right? This might have to be a topic on the show. We might have to put together a team of 10 20-year-olds and a team of 10 30-year-olds and see what we can come up with. That might have to be a topic, man.
I'm writing it down because we
hey, how about this? I'll be the captain of team 20s. You can be the captain of team 30s. Let's put the squads together.
Dude,
let's put the squads together, man.
We could do a tag. We could do a 2-on-2. We get 4 guests. If we have 4 guests on, you got somebody, I got somebody. You do young, we do old.
Bet. Let's get it.
And
Roy's on this show. And Roy's on this show right now, so he's got to be part of this one.
Yep.
I got you. Right. Say less.
10-man.
That's a good idea. I like that.
We're gonna get into this one because we off topic right now, and we're still talking about it. So that means we got to get into this one.
It's a place we're passionate about.
Come on. We know. Listen, like I said, man, the league is plentiful of these young guys. Man, don't sleep. I do think I would give it the edge to the older guys.
Yeah.
Rory, Rory, whose side you gonna be on? Young or old? Which one?
I want to be on the older side, man.
All right. So Pete, who do you want?
I'll get back to you on that one, man. I might have to bring a special guest in for this one. I mean, to go against you and Roy for this, man. I might have to bring somebody in on this one, man. Just for this segment.
He said, I need help.
All right, just for this segment, man.
All right, I got
listen, like I said, man, if you got the ball, I'm a Nets fan, okay? And I see what happens every night, okay? You put the ball when you need a shot made in KD's hands, and most likely you're getting the job done. So we're talking about a buzzer beater to win this game. Absolutely, I'm probably going with that older squad, okay? But don't sleep, man. You got some guys between the ages of 18 and 29 that can ball in our league.
That is true,
all right?
But LeBron is 102 and he just had a triple-double. There's no young guys stopping that.
Listen,
Isaiah
even
Stewart
with the
couldn't
young
even
squad,
stop him, and he couldn't even get to him.
Even with the young squad that I'm going to put together.
And what did he do to the Pistons next time he saw the Pistons after that? What did LeBron do?
Listen, I'm going to answer that point for you right now. Even with the young squad that I'm going to put together, I would still pick your squad of 30-year-olds if I'm putting money on the game to win the game. Absolutely.
That's all.
But
I'm
not calling a blowout.
That's a blowout.
I'm not calling a blowout.
It's 175 to 120.
Why did I say them numbers? He is not going to let them numbers go.
It's
okay, I should have never said that.
It's literally playing the Pelicans without Zion and Brandon Ingram.
You think it's that big of a discrepancy?
It's the IQ is different.
Right? I agree.
The time and understanding the game is different.
I agree.
Knowing your teammates is different. KD and Steph already played together. LeBron plays with these guys in the All-Star game. If you only have Giannis and then you putting Tatum and Luka around him, I can understand those guys are good guys. But if you're saying they're going to produce to where LeBron's going to drop a triple-double, Steph is going to have probably 12 threes made, KD's going to be cooking, Harden's going to be cooking. Like these guys live for this. There's no defense. Like none of them's going to play defense. I don't care what you said. None of them are going to play defense. So the point, it then comes down to which squad is going to outscore the other squad. I'm going to take the old squad because you have a bona fide shooter, you have another bona fide shooter, you have a bona fide scorer, and then you have another bona fide shooter if we throwing James Harden in there. And then you could throw AD in there.
Listen, I'm going to repeat myself 100%. I will give the edge to the older guys. I agree. When the
you just don't think it's going to be a blowout. I get it.
When the clock says 0, I'm giving it to the old heads. Absolutely. But I don't think when the fourth quarter starts, this game will be decided just yet. We got to play the fourth quarter. 100%, Roy.
They're going to end the game. They're going to end the game early, bro. It's literally going to be the Thunder versus the Grizzlies all over again, bro.
Oh my
79 points. 79.
We're going to get into this one.
Definitely.
I got to start making my list. I got to start doing my pre-draft right now. All right.
See, me and Roy ain't going to mean to do that. We're going to talk on the show and draft.
That's what I'm saying. We already got it. We're
going to do it in your face.
We want you to know who we got.
And guess what? I didn't even listen.
I'm going to drop it on TikTok and tell the people to vote who winning.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even give the 20-year-old squad. I didn't even put the secret weapon on there, man. I mean, I'm not even in my 20s. I'm in my 30s, but I got a baby face. I'm gonna throw myself on the squad too. And that's gonna put the 20-year-olds right over the edge.
If you do that,
that's gonna put the 20-year-olds right over the edge.
Don't worry,
my
Roy.
3-point shot.
Well, he don't understand.
I'm guarding Steph.
We straight.
Don't worry, Roy. What Pete don't understand is that's not a Christmas tree. That's a time machine. And Wilt gonna walk through that shit and smack his shit. All right, you better stop playing with me, Pete. All right, I'm still not off the Wilt. Wilt gonna smack his shit. Stop playing. All right. But let's get into one of my favorite segments. You know, it's the second time us doing it, Roy. I think you're new to it, so I'll explain it to you. The segment is called "Who You Got," right? So I'm gonna give you 2 players, and you're just gonna tell me who you got out of those 2 players. All right?
Sounds good.
If you remember correctly. I actually missed that episode the other day. You guys did that too.
You did. So this is Pete's first time doing it too. So it's going to be fun. Let's see if we get some anonymous picks. Let's see if you guys pick different people. But yeah, we're going to get into it. Pete did help with this list. All right. Pete helped with, I think, the first 10. Yes. Yeah, the first 10 Pete helped with. The last 5 I did by myself. So let's get it. So I don't know if Pete remember what he picked, but
we're
going to see now. The first pick right now is Jason Kidd or Stephen Nash. Who you got?
Oh man, I can tell this list is gonna be fun, man. I would say Steve Nash. I go with Nash, man. Yeah.
Over J.
Controversial. I know, but I've always loved Steve Nash, man. I have a signed jersey from him, so I gotta go with my guy there.
You can never argue with a 2-time MVP. I mean, you can't argue with that, you know.
Yeah. Well, he averaged that year MVP year, 11 points.
Some argue he shouldn't have won it, but
will he average that MVP year, 11 points? Who you got?
So you know what they said, right?
Who you got?
So you know what they said? I never forget. They said the second back-to-back MVP that he had won, the only reason why they gave it to him was because in all the major statistical categories, he improved. So if he got it the year before and his numbers were better than next year, how do you not give it to him 2 years in a row?
That's not true.
But there were other guys that had a great season that year.
Shaq should have got it. Tell that to Shaq, Pete, and Shaq gonna put you under the rim and dunk on you. But who you got? You got J. Kidd or you got Steve Nash, Pete?
I'm a big Nets fan, but I'm not biased. But I still got to go Jason Kidd, man. And it's no knock on Steve Nash. I mean, Steve Nash was great. Listen, J. Kidd don't have no MVP. Steve Nash has 2. But at the same time, man, J. Kidd was just different, man. When you talk about that point guard role and what he did for the New Jersey Nets franchise, he got them to 2 championship games. Unfortunately, they were swept by the Lakers in 1, and they took the San Antonio Spurs to 6 games. So, you know, but for a while, New Jersey Nets were like the team in the East for about 3 good seasons. As a matter of fact, the Nets with Jason Kidd almost went to 3 straight finals if it wasn't for losing a game 7 to the Detroit Pistons back then. So what J. Kidd has done on multiple teams, the Dallas Mavericks as well, he won a championship with, and that was even a little bit later on in his career. I'm a big Jason Kidd guy. I was a big Nash guy as well, but I definitely give the edge to Jason Kidd. I mean, if you're just talking who would I build my franchise around as my starting point guard, I would definitely take Jason Kidd over Steve Nash, but that's just me. Yeah.
All right, next up, we got Travis Kelce or George Kittle. Who you got?
I got Kelsey on that one, man.
Yeah.
I like George. I mean, Travis. I like George Kittle too. Don't get me wrong, but Travis Kelsey, man, he just has that prestige to him. I mean, he has shown time and time again, even when he has those quote unquote off games, he's still on. I mean, and especially in the tight end role, I mean, that man can go and get the ball. And don't get me wrong, so can George Kittle. But I kind of start to question a little bit of Kittle's health, just a little bit.
That's it.
But I mean, that's really the big factor that determines.
That's the big determining factor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 100% is the health is a determining factor because I still think even before Kittle started to catch all these injuries, it still was like Kelsey's 1A, Kittle's 1B, but it was a very close. But then the injuries started to, and it's like when Kittle misses a game, he doesn't miss one game. He's out for 8 weeks, and stuff like that, So, yeah, Kittle, the health, but I mean, dang, if Kittle could stay healthy, he'd be right there. And because of Kittle's health, I'll be honest with you, I'm not calling Kittle 1B no more. I'm calling Mark Andrews 1B when it comes to tight ends in the NFL right now. I like Mark Andrews over with the Baltimore Ravens.
I just said that did 2 episodes ago, Uncle Frank. I just said that.
Yeah, I like Mark Andrews, man. The thing that helps Kelsey out,
he just had 115 yards with a backup quarterback, bro.
One thing that helps Kelsey out too is, let's be honest, he does have a superstar in Pat Mahomes throwing him the ball. But at the same time too, one thing that doesn't help Kelsey out, that Kelsey's able to still be as good as he is how about the fact that he's got a wide receiver next to him and Tyreek Hill, who could easily, like we see plenty of wide receivers on teams do, steal all the attention and catch all the balls. And even with Tyreek Hill being as good as he is, Pat Mahomes is still able to distribute the ball to Kelsey for Kelsey to still make plays. You put Tyreek Hill on a lot of NFL teams, he's the only one making plays on that team. And Tyreek and Kelsey's able to steal some of that shine from him. You have to keep that guy involved. He is that freaking good. And for the most part, he's able to stay healthy. So, every season, Kelsey's just putting up big numbers and he stays healthy. So definitely, I got to go Kelsey over
Kelsey in the red zone.
Kelsey. We got our first anonymous pick in Kelsey. All right.
Yep.
The next one, we got Kevin Johnson or Gary Payton. Who you got?
I want Pete to go first.
Yeah, I'll go. Kevin Johnson is such an underrated player, man. Roy, you're a little bit younger, but you know your sports. I know your sports. I seen some playoff games, man. Charles Barkley will be the first to tell you, man. Charles Barkley and them Phoenix Suns are nothing if it wasn't for Kevin Johnson, man. He had some crazy, even like I remember that one highlight they always show of that crazy dunk. I believe it was against, I want to say it was over Olajuwon. I think he dunked on in the playoffs, man. Kevin Johnson just made a lot of big shots at the right time. And because he played next to Barkley and Barkley was such a massive superstar, you always heard about Barkley. Matter of fact, you heard more about Barkley and Dan Marley than you heard about Kevin Johnson. But Kevin Johnson quietly was the engine that had that team going by him playing point guard for them. As far as Gary Payton's concerned, everybody knew who Gary Payton was. It was Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. They were the guys. You mix in a little bit of Detlef Schrempf. He was really good too. But it was mainly your Sean Kemp and your Gary Payton. The thing about Gary Payton that's just so special is he was the last point guard to win a defensive player of the year, because nowadays all you see is your big guys winning it with the fact that they're able to block so many shots. But Gary Payton on a defensive level was just super, super, super special. He was the man. He was the man. That's such a tough call. I'm beating around the bush right now. But if I gotta pick one, man, it's Gary Payton by
GK will be proud of you.
A thin of measures, man. It's just like, but yeah, Kevin Johnson, man, is a name that's never talked about. Talked about. Yeah, and don't forget about the guy because he was that good.
Yeah, Kevin Johnson is just one of those people that's always just forgotten, just because look at the team. You already went into the team he was on and the players he was around and everything, and he just doesn't have that big name to him. Like Kevin Johnson, just the name itself is kind of a forgettable name. Let's be honest. But I don't know, Gary Payton. The glove. I go with Gary Payton on that one. I love watching him play. I love watching them play, man. And I know it's some defense isn't exciting to some people, but I think the true basketball fans, we love seeing some hard defense. And Gary Payton did that every time he was on the court.
Word.
And you know what helped too? Right before you go, Troy, you know what else helped too? Which I'm a huge fan of, and basketball's big with it, is the trash talking, bro.
Oh, he had
Gary Payton had no problem getting in your face, talking trash to Michael Jordan. It didn't matter. Gary Payton ran his mouth and he backed it up.
All right. Next we got Tony Gonzalez or Antonio Gates. Who you got?
Back to the tight ends. Go ahead, Roy.
Watching football, I caught Tony Gonzalez towards the tail end. I just remember Antonio Gates giving every middle linebacker so much trouble, man. Antonio Gates was like that. I mean, I'll go with Gates. I mean, Tony Gonzalez was great as well. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like I'm a little biased because I caught him towards the end of his career. So I've watched like film of him and everything, but I just think Antonio Gates, just for a while, he just absolutely dominated the league in every way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when it came to run blocking, he could also run block. A lot of people forget that, man. I mean, but catching the ball, man, he was such a menace.
Yeah, his relationship with Phillip Rivers was like, oh my
that connection.
gosh, man. The connection between those two, man, the numbers are astronomical. The amount of touchdown passes that Phillip Rivers threw to Antonio Gates was unbelievable. The thing that makes Tony Gonzalez special is he played for multiple teams. You saying you caught Tony Gonzalez later in his career, you know Atlanta Falcons Tony Gonzalez. Correct. Okay, but Kansas City Chiefs Tony Gonzalez was nothing to play around with. And what was crazy about Tony Gonzalez is I feel like the man could have played another year if he wanted to, maybe in another 2 years. When your earlier part of your career is with, say, for instance, the Kansas City Chiefs, you would say, oh, well, that's when you were in your prime and that's when you played your best football. But when he got older and moved over to the Atlanta Falcons, his production didn't decline.
Right.
Tony Gonzalez still played amazing ball with Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. It was really sad to see both of these guys, as good as they were, neither one got themselves a championship ring. But they are both looked at as, I mean, probably top 5 to definitely top 10. If not top 5, they are top 10 all-time tight ends in this league, man. And it's so funny. We were talking about Kelsey and Kittle a few minutes ago. And like, to be honest with you, Kelsey and Kittle still have career left. So let's see what they're able to do. And obviously Kelsey, has that ring now too. But when it's all said and done, these guys might not even be able to catch Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates when it's all said and done. Because when those two guys were playing, they were like top 2 tight ends in all of football. And that was for multiple years. So, the tight end position is so underrated, but at the same time now it's so thin in football where if you're able to get yourself a good tight end, you better lock them up and hold on to them for quite a while. Because as you see, who do we talk about right now? We talk about Kittle, we talk about Kelsey, we talk about Mark Andrews. You got Atlanta Falcons with the rookie they drafted in Kyle Pitts, but there ain't a whole lot of great tight ends in this league. Troy, being a Giants fan like me, we've been big on Evan Ingram for I don't know how many seasons, and Evan Ingram still has not seemed to do anything for our team where it's almost time to move on from the guy. So when you get yourself a good tight end, you better hold on to him. And a tight end is so special when it comes to like young and rookie quarterbacks because the tight end is always considered a safety blanket. Yes. When your wide receivers aren't open and you can't go deep, you can hit that little check down spot to that tight end and he can bail you out of jams as being like your 3rd or 4th progression when those other guys aren't open. So if you can get yourself a good tight end and you think that he's on the Hall of Fame level as these other guys that we've been talking about, you got to go lock him down and you got to get him. Antonio Gates, it's almost not even fair to even choose one of these guys. But me being a Phillip Rivers fan and an Antonio Gates guy like I was, oh man, I'll go Antonio Gates. I know a lot of people will probably hate on me for that one, but there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer.
Agreed.
All right, moving on. Excuse me. We got Jamal Murray or Donovan Mitchell. Who you got? I think this one's an easy one. Told Pete this was easy. It's too easy.
Wow. Yeah.
You think this is an easy one?
Yeah,
that's why I said wow, Roy.
For me.
So you should go first. Go first, Troy.
I don't ever go. I
want to hear yours, Mr.
But I don't ever go. So how am I going to go first if I don't ever go?
You going today.
You going today. This ain't for me.
You going today.
But I just said I'll take it Donovan Mitchell easy. I don't gotta explain it.
Okay.
Just take it Donovan.
Based off of that, I was gonna say Donovan Mitchell too, but I don't think it's as easy as you think it is, man. I really like Jamal Murray too, but Donovan Mitchell, yeah, he got that
Wow.
it factor, man. He has that it factor. Just the drive that kid plays with, man. It's otherworldly.
See,
It really is.
Donovan plays with who?
The Jazz. So you got
Rudy
Gobert.
Gobert.
Yeah.
Don.
Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
Who Jamal playing with? Is that not a former MVP over there?
Yeah.
But no, this
And
ain't
he's
for
been
me.
hurt.
This you guys.
Yeah.
Who you got? You got Murray or you got Mitchell?
Who you got, Pete?
Because Roy said he got Mitchell.
I have Mitchell.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, like Roy said, I don't see this one as an easy one. You know, it sucks
It ain't
that
nothing to discuss here. That's all.
yeah, it sucks that he's been injured, so we haven't got to see him all this season or a lot of last season. So that kind of sucks. He's not as fresh in our heads. But the one thing I go back to is when these two teams played each other in a bubble, and it wasn't even about anybody else on those rosters. These two guys were dropping 50 back and forth against each other. They are definitely two of the most upcoming good young point guards in this league. I guess if you're gonna go health,
if you're talking talent,
I even think they're so similar too. That's the crazy part. They got very similar games in a way. Yeah.
Donovan is way more explosive.
I agree.
Way more explosive.
Way more.
Yeah, way more explosive.
But like I will say this, Donovan will dunk on you. You know, Jamal Murray's not, that's not, you know, but
like Murray, you could say he got a little bit more finesse, but
yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Absolutely.
I would say
listen,
I would say Donovan is more aggressive.
I agree.
Okay.
I think he's better defensively as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with y'all on Donovan, just not the easy part of it. That's
I'm not taking the easy road. I'm taking the hard road.
I can see what you say with Jamal Murray though.
I can see it too, but
but look how
was the right word
far
to
they
use.
went. Yeah. I mean, look at how the Denver Nuggets did without him. I mean, they still did well.
They still
went in playoffs, still did good in the playoffs. I mean, that's all without him as well. So
watch how they get elevated even more this season when he comes back.
When he comes back, yeah, I agree.
Nah, they about to get Nuggets about to get Kemba right now, like I said last episode. All right, now because you know we go basketball, football. The next, let me interrupt. So the next who you got is gonna be different. It's not gonna be basketball, football. It's gonna be another topic. I'm not gonna give it to you guys, but I got something in mind. But the next who you got is gonna be a little different. So just be on your A game because you know I don't tell you guys about the list until you get here and then you hear the names. So when you hear some other stuff, then all right. But next on the list we got I kind of did Lamar in my first who you got, but me and Pete talked and he was like he don't think I did Lamar any justice by stacking him up against Patty Mahomes. So P wanted to stack him up against somebody that's right now at this point even better than Patty Mahomes. Patty Mahomes hasn't reached that level yet. Well, maybe you could say he's better because he does have a chip. But we got Mike Vick or Lamar Jackson. Who you got?
Pete, you gotta go first.
Yeah, you picked it, Pete. Who you got?
Yeah,
Pete?
I want to hear what you got to say.
So even Michael Vick has said that he thinks Lamar Jackson has passed him as a runner at this point in time. Michael Vick, the one thing I'll give, he's super, super humble, man. He has no problem saying, like, listen, Lamar Jackson's that dude, okay? But I just know when Michael Vick was out there, man, it was like, I don't know. I just got more excited to watch Michael Vick than I do watching Lamar Jackson right now. I don't know if that's because football was in a different time then or whatever. Maybe because now our league has so many runners in it, you don't just get that running aspect of the game only from Lamar Jackson. Whereas when Vic was out there weren't a lot of guys even coming close to doing the stuff that Vic was out there doing, man. He was just super special. He was super electric. And that all helped with the time of that he played, you know what I mean? So being a huge Vic fan like I was and like I am, I like Vic. I do. I think that Lamar Jackson has a very underrated arm, okay? Because he is known as a runner first. And I think he throws the ball better than people give him credit to. And all he's going to do, and he has continued to do, is actually improve, even with his deep ball. All of that's gotten better. But one thing about Vic was he had a cannon. It might have not been that accurate, but Michael Vick had a cannon. I'd put Michael Vick's arm strength up there with anybody you want to talk about. And Vic wasn't even that big of a quarterback. He was a small guy. and that lefty could throw the freaking ball. And I just remember so many games where Michael Vick walked off the game. I remember one specifically in overtime against the Minnesota Vikings, where he had this like 60-yard run to win the game in overtime, and the man just ran right into the locker room. He ran right through the end zone into the locker room and left the field, and the game was over. Like, Michael Vick was just a fun talent to watch. And it's nice to see now guys come around that can emulate his game a little bit and do some of the things he do to just remind us of what we used to watch when Michael Vick was there. So Michael Vick has paved the way for a lot of guys. A lot of teams are taking chances, whether at the college ranks or even at the pro ranks, on guys based on saying, you know what, Michael Vick was able to do it. Oh, you know what, now Lamar Jackson's able to do it. Let's give this guy a chance that might not have the best arm, might be your prototypical quarterback, and see what he can do to lead a team, because both of those guys have led teams. And when they came into the league, there was talk about changing them into a wide receiver, changing them into a running back, changing them into a cornerback. And these guys said, you know what, no, we're quarterbacks. Let us play quarterback and we'll show you what we can do. And they both were able to do that. But at the same time, I'm going to go Vic. Lamar Jackson has a lot of career left. That could change. But right now, being the Vic fan that I was, I'm going to say Vic.
Yeah, not bad for a running back, right? No,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, Lamar is great. Don't get me wrong. I like Lamar Jackson. I like watching him play, but I would still give the nod to Vic. I mean, what you were saying with the arm, I think Lamar's arm is, obviously it's not the best, but it is getting better. That's the big elephant in the room, is how much better is his arm going to get with not just power, but accuracy as well. Because I mean, there's been some questions to his game. I mean, whether he can throw consistently on a consistent basis. But I mean, Vic just had that like you said, cannon of an arm, and that I couldn't find a better way to put it. I mean, that's amazing. And I would go with Vic, man. I just loved watching Vic, play. He was even with my Steelers for a little bit. Obviously wasn't the same guy then, but man, I would take Michael Vick over Lamar Jackson. But Lamar still has more career left and maybe could improve more with the throwing. But if he does that, I think this conversation is a little bit closer.
You know what? I'm going to throw a little side note in there real fast, Troy. You know what's funny is I just remember playing Madden, okay? And it didn't matter who you played against. They wanted to use the Falcons. Play me. Can you pick a different team? No, I'm using the Falcons. I want to use the Falcons. I want it all because of Michael Vick. He was just unstoppable. In Madden, he had a 99 speed in Madden.
No, I used to dot him up with Peyton.
Okay, I remember dudes used to take him. They would take their roster on Madden and put him back to return kicks because he ran so fast.
Yeah, there was two rules when you came to playing video games with me. One was you're not allowed to use the Falcons when we're playing Madden, and the other one is you weren't allowed to use the Warriors back when they had everyone together. Those are the two rules.
Can't use the overpowered teams, bro.
Exactly.
Can't be using them. All right, so the first 6 ones, we got one split. The rest of them you guys agree on. So next one is Magic versus Bird. Who you got?
Great minds think alike.
Magic or Bird? Who you got?
Oh man,
Well,
I'm taking bias out of it. Taking bias out of it, but my man Larry Legend back there. I gotta say, I mean, he's part of the reason I'm a big Celtics fan. You know. I mean, Troy, you're pointing in the right direction, my guy. You're pointing in the right direction. I have a weird feeling that Pete's going to say Magic because I know he's going to split it.
So here's the thing.
The split is
Troy
in.
knows. Troy knows that I'm big into my shooters, man. I love my shooters that can shoot the ball. But the thing that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough is the fact that Magic Johnson played all 5 positions on the floor. He gave it to you at point guard, center, shooting guard, but it didn't make a difference. They called him Showtime for a reason, man. But Larry Bird, man, listen, he was all heart, all hustle. He trash talked. He was one of the best shooters to ever come around. He was one of the first guys that actually could shoot the ball and play power forward and be a big guy at the same time. You know, Larry bounced around from small forward to power forward and different things like that. So, you know, the two are always compared to each other. They came up in college together. They were in the pros together. They're great friends. They had a great rivalry. The Celtics Lakers played each other a million times in a championship. There's really no wrong answer there. But yeah, I'll go against you guys. I'll represent for Magic. Yeah, no problem. No problem, man.
Got another split. Okay.
Next
up, back to football. We hitting the corners. We want to know who you got. Jalen Ramsey or Jamal Adams?
I don't think.
Well, we might as well just say defensive backs because Jamal Adams plays a little more safety than he does corner. Yeah, but listen, same thing, ain't no difference. You talking about two hard hitting guys, man. Okay. Woo. Yeah.
I think this is the easy one, if you ask me.
Yeah,
I think this is the
okay.
easy one.
You know, Jamal Adams is more known for getting in there and blitzing the quarterback. He out of safeties, he leads the NFL usually. He's not doing it too much this year, but he always leads the league and getting to that quarterback, man. He's very sneaky with that safety blitz scheme that they like to run, where they send him right at the quarterback. He's untouched and he gets right through there and gets it done. I feel like, I'll be honest with you, him forcing his way off the Jets, I feel like now I kind of see little flaws in his game here and there, and he doesn't seem like the guy that he was with the Jets. When the Jets have a terrible defense and the only person on your team is Jamal Adams, you tend to stand out a little bit more. Then you put him on Seattle that actually has some decent defensive players, and I feel like, you know what? I don't see Jamal Adams doing some of the things that he was doing with the Jets. Maybe he had more free reign over there. I don't know what the case is or whatever, different head coaches, different teams, whatever it may be, but I feel like Jamal Adams is, yeah, exactly. So I feel like Jamal Adams, not saying like body-wise and health-wise, he's not the same player he was, but he's not doing some of the things that like made him so exciting when he was with the Jets. Jalen Ramsey, on the other hand, whether he's with the Jaguars or whether he's with the Rams, he's just a huge part of those defensive teams and looks great doing it. I'm gonna go Jalen Ramsey.
Well,
Yeah.
correct. You made the right choice. Good job. But I would say Jalen Ramsey, man. I mean, coming out of Florida State, I mean, he's been a lockdown since day one. I mean, that's just the simple fact of the matter. Jamal Adams, I'm not too high on him, to be honest. I mean, he's a different type of player though, because he's more like how you said, he's a blitzer. He's more of a run support type of back. You know, he stops the run very well. He's good at that. I give him that. But I think the elephant in the room with him is just his interceptions, man. I think we've all been, I mean, he has what, 4, 5, something like that. Okay. He just passed. I mean, I forgot what year of his career this is, but I mean, he just passed Vince Wilfork in interceptions, who was like the biggest lineman of all time.
Yeah.
And he's now, I think he's tied with JPP for interceptions. So you're talking about someone who doesn't even have all his fingers. I mean, I don't know. He doesn't.
One of my favorite points to make.
Yo, you talk about people suing our show. JPP is going, we trash this man in his damn hands.
No, we're not trashing him. We're just saying that he has the ability to do things at his position with less fingers than people with all their fingers.
Take it as a compliment, JPP.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
We're not coming at you.
He's a giant. All right, he's a giant. I will never trash a giant.
Yeah,
Roy didn't know, but we had a couple episodes, Roy, where like we've been laughing at this man's fingers.
We're not laughing at his fingers. Stop doing that, Pete. Stop doing
I'm
that.
laughing.
You're laughing at his fingers. I'm not laughing at his fingers. I don't just look at his fingers and be like, holy shit, that's fucking.
Those fireworks get you every time.
Kaboom!
All right, but Jamal Adams, man, he lost. I'm not a big fan of Jamal Adams.
All right,
never had
next
big
one.
hitter.
This was Pete. This was the last one Pete helped me with. We got, which I kind of contested to it. I don't know if you remember, Pete, but because I didn't think these two guys fit well next to each other. But who you got? Vince Carter or Dominique Wilkins?
Roy?
Vince Carter. I would just say, I mean, you want to talk, I know we said explosive with Donovan Mitchell, man, but I mean, take that and put that on steroids and oh my gosh, that's
Look,
Vince
you can
Carter,
see one,
man.
you just can't see the other one.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Dominique, I mean, one heck of a player. I mean, I'm not discounting him at all. Yeah, I mean, I'm not discounting him whatsoever, but Vince Carter, man, otherworldly. No one would even watch those Raptors teams without him. I mean, let's be honest. I wouldn't have watched the Raptors if he wasn't on that team. So, I mean, he put, how many jerseys did that man sell with the old vintage, the purple ones with the old little their old logo,
dinosaur on them?
The dinosaur on it. That's like a legendary jersey in itself.
Yeah, I'm not even a Toronto fan. I would rock that jersey.
I would too. I mean, all these frat kids at college parties wear them too. So, you know.
I'll take it in Vince Carter or Tracy McGrady. I don't care. I'll take it in either one of them. Either one of them.
All right, who you got?
I gotta go Vince Carter. I'm actually older than you guys, so like, you know, I do remember a lot of Dominique Wilkins. The biggest thing was it was always Dominique versus Jordan. Dominique versus Jordan. That's what everybody used to always talk about or whatever. Dominique was that good, man. As far as dunking, if we're just talking dunking, nobody in the gap between Vince Carter's career and Dominique Wilkins' career, Vince Carter passed him and was the first one to even come close to Dominique dunking. When Dominique retired, and then however many years was in between these guys playing, because obviously Dominique's a lot older, Dominique was just looked at as that guy. And it took Vince Carter to come around for people to then say, okay, Dominique, you've been passed as a dunker. It's now Vince Carter. But then the thing as an overall player that I have to put Vince Carter over him with is the fact that don't sleep. Vince Carter could shoot that ball, man. And me being a Nets fan, I got to watch him all the time with the New Jersey Nets. Vince Carter could shoot the three like it was nothing, man, okay? He's got a ton of three-pointers on his resume, mid-range drive, do everything. You know, a lot of Dominique's game was only looked at as dunking. If you talk about Dominique Wilkins, or if you even see highlights of Dominique Wilkins, somebody could put together a 10-minute package of Dominique Wilkins and you might not see no jump shots. Yeah. You know what I mean? So as explosive as he was, as good as he was a good defensive player as well. Just as far as versatility, I gotta go Vince Carter because he did a
longevity.
And
longevity.
And
how
longevity.
long Vince Carter played.
20 years.
Oh, he played till he was 40 years old. Absolutely.
That man did 20 years of service. Jeez.
All right. So now the next 6 is all on me. So get ready, because I try to get a little, you know, spicy with it. So the first one right off the bat, number 10, we got Chad Ochocinco Johnson versus no other than Terrell Owens. Who you got?
This, I'll go first and say this is the first time out of everyone that we've done, it's the first time you've heard me say this is an easy one. This is a very easy one. It's Terrell Owens all day. This is not even close to me. Ochocinco started off great with the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, yeah, sure. But after that, I mean, come on. He wasn't, he's overrated. Matter of fact, I'll be honest with you. I feel like Ochocinco is more known for the antics. Don't get me wrong. Terrell Owens had his own antics.
Well, there goes our chance of getting Ocho on the show.
Terrell Owens was known for antics too, but he definitely backed it up on the field with his career, man. Ochocinco didn't even come close, I feel like, to having the career that Terrell Owens had, the big catches, the statement games, the things that he did. What Terrell Owens did on that Super Bowl run with the Eagles, where Terrell Owens had the bad ankle. He was sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber every single night just to get ready for that Super Bowl against the Patriots. And he caught all those balls and did his thing. Terrell Owens with the Dallas Cowboys, Terrell Owens with the 49ers. He won a huge playoff game with that big catch he made. I believe it was against Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. Terrell Owens just had like so many good games and was so freaking good, where I feel like you just remember Ochocinco for acting crazy on the field and doing this and wearing this and pulling $1 out and trying to bribe the referee to change a penalty call and being funny and stuff. Yeah, it was fun to watch. He was exciting and it was funny to see what he would do next and stuff. But if we're talking about put the antics, put the drama, put all that aside and just what you did on the field, there is absolutely no way I'm picking Ochocinco to be on my team instead of Terrell Owens. There's no way.
All right. Well, I'm going to win. I know we lost Ocho coming on the show with that one, but I'm bringing him back. You know why?
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm bringing him back because being a fan of this team right here, this Pittsburgh Steelers team, I'm supposed to hate this guy, right? I can't hate him at all, man. 85, Ochocinco. I mean, he was my idol.
He changed his name for a reason.
Yes. He was my idol growing up. I mean, he was the one guy I looked for. Like, I looked up to Ochocinco, man, just because of his footwork was insane. I mean, there's plenty of Hall of Fame defenders saying that he has the quickest feet, the most agile wide receiver they've ever seen. And keep in mind, this is also when Terrell Owens is there. So, I mean, they saw Terrell play.
I was going to say that, Terrell.
I think the talent, you know, that surrounded them. I mean, okay, he was a part of a Bengals team that didn't win much. I understand. And you mentioned the antics, man. I love the antics. The Hall of Fame jacket.
Exciting. Absolutely.
The Hall of Fame jacket. I love. And he always says 7-Eleven, always open, baby. I have gloves that have his sayings on them and everything. I wore 85 in high school for Ochocinco. I mean, I love watching Ochocinco play. So I'm a little biased. I don't like T.O. like that, but
Listen,
Ocho
I was
Cinco
biased
all
too.
day.
I was biased with the T.O. thing too, with the fact that he played for the Eagles and he played for the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm a big Giants fan. So I was biased too, but I still gave it to Terrell Owens. And what you said was, the antics are always fun. It's exciting to talk about and watch and everything. And out of all the antics, I actually thought that Hall of Fame jacket was probably the most corniest thing I ever watched him do. Because if I remember correctly, leading up to him doing that, he told everybody pregame and all week long, wait till you see what I do on this day when we have this game. And everybody's all excited. They're watching, the cameras are on him. And he comes out and pulls this jacket and puts it over him that says Hall of Fame class of whatever, whatever. Well, now you fast forward, you're not making the Hall of Fame. So number one, it didn't pan out like you wanted it to do. And then what's another funny thing is you talk about how good his footwork is. That makes sense because he actually made it pretty far on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. Yes,
he was did. Almost a finalist on Dancing with the Stars. So that man definitely does have footwork.
So you saying if T.O. got in, Ocho's not getting in?
I don't think Ocho's getting in.
I think he's getting in.
No, I don't. Not listen, he definitely ain't getting first ballot. Let's call it that. Okay. Listen, you want to know ready for this? Ready for this? And y'all can disagree if you want to. I was actually a bigger fan of TJ Hushmanzada than I was Ocho Cinco. Don't sleep on TJ, Roy. Don't tell me TJ wasn't a good wide receiver.
But as Ocho always said, child, please.
Child, please. On to the next one, man. Who you guys got? Grant Hill or Penny Hardaway?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Pete, go first.
I'm a huge Duke fan, man. So watching Grant Hill win championships with Duke, man, with Bobby Hurley and them guys, Christian Laettner. Oh my gosh, those Duke teams were like unstoppable back then. The thing that just sucks for Grant Hill, which everybody freaking knows, matter of fact, it's the reason why the guy probably isn't on the top 75 list, is the injuries, man. The back injuries, the leg injuries. Grant Hill's career always suffered with injuries, but he always bounced back and still always played well and was still a great player. But I can tell you right now, somebody is not on that top 75 list if Grant Hill was able to be healthy for his entire career. Now you go over to Penny Hardaway, what him and Shaq were able to do, that was my favorite line. I already said it earlier today, was must-see TV. Them two guys together were unbelievable. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite sports movies, Blue Chips, okay, with Nick Nolte and Shaq and Penny Hardaway, okay? Shaq made it perfectly clear. Nobody even knew anything about Penny Hardaway. And as soon as the movie was over, he went to the Orlando Magic and said, you better draft this kid. He is going to be that good. So that him being in that movie and Shaq endorsing him the way he did was what got Penny Hardaway on Orlando Magic. It just sucked that Penny became such a huge superstar. Him and Shaq started beefing, and the two of them ended up separating and splitting. But Penny Hardaway was that good. Grant Hill was that good. I go Grant Hill without the injuries, but with the injuries, I guess I would go Penny Hardaway. Yeah, okay. I ain't even gonna say that. That's a tough one, man.
That is a tough one, but like you said, it's just hard to ignore the injuries with Grant Hill, man. It really is. I mean, I'll go with Penny. But Grant Hill, like you said, he doesn't have those injuries. I think he's top 50. I mean,
top 50.
Yeah, that's a bold claim. I know that's a bold claim. I understand.
No.
I would say Penny though. I'd go with Penny. I mean, he stayed healthy.
All right, on to the next one. We got, I think this is another good one. Can I hit you guys with the back-to-back? I got Wes Welker or Julian Edelman. Who you got?
You hit me with the two white guy receivers, the two small dudes.
Throw my man Hunter Renfro in there, man.
No, we got Wes Welker,
I know.
Julian Edelman. Who you got?
Listen, I'm being funny. Roy said white receiver, so I just wanted to give Hunter Renfro a quick shout out because Hunter Renfro is balling this season, but I'm not going to get off topic. Wes Welker and Julian Edelman actually is a really, really good one because one replaced the other. He came right in after the other one left, but I feel like Wes Welker was the blueprint, okay? And what's funny, though, is you got to give Julian Edelman a little bit credit because you know what? Julian Edelman was there about a year or two before a guy in the name of Danny Amendola. And the Patriots pulled off a trade to bring Danny Amendola in, and Danny Amendola was actually supposed to be the real replacement of Wes Welker. And Danny Amendola, in his very first game with the Patriots, had a huge game and then got injured and was out for like 4 or 5 weeks. Julian Edelman slid in, never looked back. Never looked back. So Julian Edelman, it's easier to say him just because he's more fresh in our heads and he's more recent and he's got these more recent Super Bowl wins and had some huge catches. But you know what? I feel like if you want to just talk regular season, I would go Wes Welker. If you want to talk about big catches in the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, I feel like you got to go Julian Edelman. So there's really no wrong answer there. But I would say Wes Welker paved the way for these slot, small, white guy receivers that play out of this world and are huge right now because he's killing it, man. Even, Cooper Kupp and Hunter Renfrow, they all learn from these two guys, man. And Wes Welker was something to watch, man. Everybody talks about why did Wes Welker leave them and then go to Denver to play with Peyton Manning. Patriot fans hate that, okay? Because obviously Manning and Brady always were going against each other and compared in their career. And when Wes Welker left, he went to be with the villain, the opposite, So it's a tough one. But Julian Edelman, if you're talking playoffs and Super Bowl, you got to go Julian Edelman.
So you got Wes Welker and Julian Edelman, both Tom Brady's children. It looks like they could pass for him at least. I would say I'll go with Edelman just because that he has those big moments, man. I mean, that insane just catch where he bobbles it, catches it, reach back out, catches it again. I mean, don't get me wrong, Wes Welker, like you said, prototype. I mean, he's like he set that role up for future people. So I mean, you have to give respect where respect is due. But Julian Edelman, man, I mean, he had the longevity as well. I like watching him better. I like Edelman better.
All right. Next, we got one of these guys, well, both of these guys. One of them, I used to wear this sneaker. I used to love watching both of them play. I used to use one of them in 2K, right? Couldn't stop me with him. Shoot from the logo with this guy. All right. Who you got? Stephon Marbury or Steve Francis? That's banger after banger after banger.
So Troy, what's my email address?
The franchise.
I named it after Steve Francis. Straight up, that was his nickname, the franchise. That's where I got that email address. I had that email address.
Him in the game.
I had that email address for I don't even know how many years, man.
I don't know if you guys ever played 2K. Side note, but Mike Bibby was nasty from the logo.
He was like that. He was like that. Like that.
I've been a huge Steve Francis fan for a long time, man. But at the same time, being a Nets fan, I got to watch a whole lot of Stephon Marbury. And it's crazy because Stephon Marbury was so freaking good. And then the NBA didn't even appreciate him no more. He goes over to China and finishes his career. And China loved him so much in the CBA that they built a statue of the man outside their arena. Stephon Marbury said he would never even come back to America to live. He wants to make his permanent residency in China because the Chinese people treated him so well over there and he enjoyed playing for them so well over there. So Stephon Marbury, man, should have never been out the NBA as far as I'm concerned. He was that freaking good, whether you talk about early Stephon Marbury with the Minnesota Timberwolves, whether you want to talk about him with the Knicks, whether you want to talk about him with the Nets, whether you want to talk about him in China with the CBA. Stephon Marbury was a beast. I felt like he was underrated. He caught a lot of bad criticism here and there. But then again, when you play in New York, you deal with that New York media market, which is very hard to deal with for some people. But Stephon Marbury was that freaking great. But so was Steve Francis, but I would still give the edge to Stephon Marbury. But Steve Francis, like we said earlier about Kevin Johnson is a name that's never talked about. Right. Steve Francis is one of those names also that deserves some respect.
I think that's a good comparison.
Hold on, Roy. Who you got? Pete?
Oh, I said Stephon Marbury.
Stephon Marbury. Okay, because you said Stephon, Steve Francis, Stephon, Steve Francis. I'm
I gotta
back.
break them both down so that I can get my answer in my head. That's how I get the answer.
You
Right.
lead yourself into your answer. I like that.
Yeah.
See, while you're going, I
but
think
at
of
the
my
end
answer.
of it, he was like Stephon Marbury over Steve Francis, but Steve Francis, and I'm like, okay.
I've probably done that for every single one you done thrown at us.
But you made it clearer at the end who you wanted.
Yeah.
This one you left it up in the air. All right, go ahead, Roy.
I'd say Stephon Marbury. I love.
Stephon?
Yes, Stephon Marbury. I mean, Steve Francis, like you said, he's another one of those people that is just not talked about anymore. But I feel like Marbury's kind of in that category as well. I mean, people forget that he was like that. And I'm so glad you brought up the China stuff because this man was still playing over there, 40 plus years old, dropping over 40 points a game. I mean, this guy was going crazy. I mean, granted, it's over in China, so okay, say what you want. But they built a statue of him outside the arena while he was still playing. While he was still playing. He's a celebrity over there. But
more than that.
I mean, oh yeah, he's like, yeah, exactly. He's not human over there.
No,
I would say
Wayne from another planet.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say Stephon Marbury.
Stephon, and then Pete, you said Stephon too, right?
Yes.
Just double checking because my head's still like Stephon, Steve Francis, Stephon, Steve Francis. I'm messing with you, Pete.
That's what I do. That's what I'm here for, man. I got to make everybody's job harder, bro. That's what I do.
Good job.
No, okay. All right, now this next one, I think it's a hard one. I think I know who both of you guys are gonna pick. But who you got? Ray Lewis or Brian Urlacher?
I was about to say you would have made it very easy for me if you said Ray Lewis and Lawrence Taylor, but
no, I think Brian is more on par.
More par, yeah, because ain't a lot of guys you can put up against Lawrence Taylor. So yeah, I agree. Urlacher was good, man. He was good. Ray Lewis was too. That's a good one, man.
They both caused a lot of havoc.
Yes. I'll go ahead and go first. I'll just say
I like that confidence, Roy.
I'll go first, man. I being a Steelers fan, I'm not letting my biases play in there because I'm picking him, but I hate Ray Lewis with every inch of my body. I really do. But I will say I'd take him over Brian Urlacher. And a lot of people forget how good Brian Urlacher was.
He's another one of those guys that people just don't talk about.
Exactly. And I mean, he's kind of coming to fire here in the media. I mean, supposedly he came out as like saying some pretty crazy stuff, but
he did a couple of months ago, a year ago, something like that.
He said something that was, I don't know. I didn't hear what he said.
I remember looking at it, but
it was supposedly something racist. I don't know.
But yeah, I remember looking at it, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't either. But I mean, we'll put that to the side. Just as a player in general, I mean, Urlacher was like that. I mean, he caused so many just offensive line shifts just to focus on him during that time with the Bears. But Ray Lewis, man, you can't deny him. You just can't. Right. Like you cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. And Ray Lewis is that fire and passion, big hitter. Oh my goodness, he used to tear my Steelers up, man. And it seemed like whenever he played us, he would always just kick it into another gear. I mean, that's not just for the Steelers, but I mean, he gave so many. I mean, you can have the best offensive line in the NFL, and Ray Lewis will find a way to get to your quarterback.
Yeah, you know something that you said, Roy, that makes so much sense is you said you hate Ray Lewis, right?
I do.
What does that usually mean? What does that usually mean? When you hate a guy, it's because you respect how good he was.
I do. You have to.
And that's where a lot of the hate comes from. I said I hate Terrell Owens. It's because I know how good the man was when he played against my Giants. You know what I mean? So that hate word in a way is a compliment of how good you actually were. And you hit the nail on the head, man. Ray Lewis was a scary dude. For a long period of time, people were scared of Baltimore Ravens defense because of one guy, Ray Lewis. Okay. Now, when you talk about Urlacher was great, man. I mean, really good. Only thing about Urlacher is when it came down to the final couple of years of his career, he was plagued by a lot of injury. As a matter of fact, from what I hear, Urlacher wanted to play a little longer and maybe had a year or two left if it wasn't for the injuries that he had. But Ray Lewis played late into his normal football lifespan. I can't give you the exact age he retired at, but he played pretty late and had a really long career and was still doing damage out there, man. And he transformed that Ravens defense, man. That Ravens defense was scary for years. Matter of fact, the Ravens won that Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer at quarterback against our New York Giants, Troy, because of Ray Lewis in that defense. Ray Lewis was the Super Bowl MVP in that Super Bowl. So Ray Lewis, man, heck of a freaking career, man. He was that good. Terrell said he was that good. Man. Ed Reed, don't forget Ed Reed.
Ed Reed.
All right, we're down to the last who you got. And I know you guys might think this is a little easier, but I'm going to tell you, the guy on the second end of this, actually right now in his career, averaged a little bit more points than the first guy, even though the first guy is a former MVP. But who you got, man? D Rose or John Wall?
I'll go first, no problem. Yeah, I'm going D Rose all day. John Wall, you gotta do a lot more in whatever time you have left in the NBA for me to come close to putting you over Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose has been injury plagued, and look at the way he's still playing right now. He's accepting of the backup role. Derrick Rose is a true professional through and through, and him winning that MVP in a time where LeBron James was dominating things. It was like nobody could take an MVP away from LeBron James. LeBron James was the only one winning him in that time span. And a little point guard from the Chicago Bulls came out of nowhere and took it from him. And the closest thing to Derrick Rose, and it sucks because of the injuries and the knee injuries and things like that, was what you see Westbrook out there doing. When Westbrook, being what is known as the most explosive point guard in NBA history, which is the argument that Westbrook gets, the way he just dunks on anybody and is passionate about getting in that lane, that was Derrick Rose before Derrick Rose got those knee injuries. Derrick Rose would dunk on you in a second and had no problem doing it as a point guard. And that's what helped Derrick Rose get that MVP with the Chicago Bulls. I'm just so glad to know that these knee injuries didn't screw his career up completely, where it's like, oh, it's about injuries when it comes to finally ranking Derrick Rose. He's still able to play. He takes a bench role. As far as I'm concerned, with all the congestion and turmoil going over with the Knicks, I'd have thrown Derrick Rose by this time already in the starting lineup, because I think he can still run and control a team. And even with Derrick Rose not starting on that team, guess what? In the final, say it again?
So didn't he do it last year? Wasn't he the point
start last year?
Yeah.
No, Derrick Rose still came off the bench. Yeah, Derrick Rose didn't start last year. So even with Derrick Rose not coming off the bench, guess what? Thibodeau knows when it's in the final 5 minutes of the game, Derrick Rose is out there on that floor playing those crucial minutes. So I got nothing but mad love and respect for Derrick Rose. And yeah, this was actually going to be the second one now that I'll say was an easy decision for me. Absolutely Derrick Rose all day.
And like, I like how before he even asked the question, Troy had to kind of defend putting the other player in John Wall. I like that. But I mean, honestly, people forget how good John Wall was. I mean, coming out of Kentucky, man, I mean, there was a time where he was the fastest player in the NBA. That man got up and down the court. So
even after injury in his leg, he was still the fastest guy in the NBA.
Exactly. I mean, that man, and he was explosive too. I mean, you couldn't even mention Washington Wizards basketball without mentioning John Wall. I think it's impossible. You can't. But also on the other side of the coin, I'll never forgive Tom Thibodeau for keeping Derrick Rose in that game when he got tore his ACL the first time. It was garbage time. Never should have happened. But I mean, Tom Thibodeau's a little bit better. But I would say I go with Derrick Rose. But that's no disrespect towards John Wall, because people really forget how good he was. I think his career is a little bit on the tail end now. I mean, he's fighting just for places to stay, hasn't played in a while. Derrick Rose, however, exactly how Pete said, you know, he's still playing. I mean, he's providing valuable minutes.
Yeah.
So
I can agree there.
I'll go with Rose.
I just thought I'd make it interesting with the John Wall because, you know, John Wall, I looked up their stats side by side. And their stats side by side, it's similar, and John Wall edges D Rose out in a little bit. That's why I was like, it's not as easy as you think it is, just because D Rose had that one good year where he was MVP and John Wall hasn't won an MVP. But you got to look at John Wall as an overall player and what he did for the Washington Wizards. He put them guys on the map. He was 100%. One of the top scorers every year he played healthy in his league, even sometimes when he didn't play the whole year. He was one of the top scorers. That boy is a bucket finder and a bucket getter, and that's why I thought he would match up well against Derrick Rose. Even though I know when I put the names down, I knew both of you, whoever was on the show, three of you guys, all you guys would have picked D Rose because he's just a bigger staple of a name playing from the Bulls, having that, you know, the injury being the type of player he was and all the hype that came around him coming into the league and then what he did when he got here. I get it. You know, he played for a better franchise than the Wizards, so he will get more notoriety than John Wall. But I think John Wall's career stacked up to D Rose. If you go look at the numbers, I think you will be surprised.
I just don't like the direction that John Wall's career is going right now.
I can agree.
Agreed.
And I feel like he has a lot more to prove. And you know what? Time's running out. So come on, John Wall. You got however many years you got left or whatever. I got to see more from you right now. You can still resurrect your career at this point. Absolutely. But it's got to be the right fit, the right team, and you might have to check your attitude at the door.
Right. So before we go, that's the end of who you got. Thank you guys for participating. And did you guys like it? What did you think about it?
That was fun. I like that. I like not knowing going into it. So that's good.
See, that was the point of it. I was like, I need these guys to really like think on their toes.
Yeah, well, you and me have discussed this.
You knew the first one,
anyway.
but you'll get the full effect the next one because you ain't gonna know the list. So, I gotta keep the list from you two, so you give us some real answers. You probably was in your mind like, I know I said Jason Kidd versus Steve Nash. I know I said,
but I'm not gonna let you off the hook because I'm gonna actually control this segment 1 week, and I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I like that. I like to hear that. I like to hear my co-host step up and want to be a co-host.
Who you got?
That's what I like to hear. I want my co-host to step up and be a co-host. Like, question me. Like, I just can't answer the questions with you guys because I'm already doing it. But before we move on, so let's get a little bit of stipulations in this old versus young all-star 10-man team, right? So we're building a 10-man team, and what's the ages of the old people is 30 and older?
30 and over, correct.
And then what is the age for the younger?
Anything under 30, 29 and under.
29 and under.
And I'm being generous by letting you guys get the age of 30. I could have said y'all are 31 and over and I get 30 and under, but I'm
pushing it. You're pushing it. You're pushing. You're trying to make sure we get nobody.
Right.
29 and under. I got it. That's
29 and under. All right. And then you just got to tell me who your partner is. Now, I want to get into this little bit of this RJ3 situation. Just want you guys' opinions. We don't have to stay long on this topic because the next topic we're going to spend a while on. And then you guys know we got to get to them NFL wins and losses from, this past weekend and Monday. So what do you guys think about, RJ3 coming out with his tell-all book about, how the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins when he was there, mishandled his medical treatment or his what he was going through when he messed up his leg and rushing him back, which messed him up more. And he's also saying that he dealt with sexual harassment, with Washington. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but LeVar Arrington came out and he called him a pussy. He said that he was a bitch. Because
it was a bitch move.
Yeah, he should have did it. He should have did it years ago. He shouldn't have waited this long to do it. So what is you guys, opinions on the situation?
Yeah. Go ahead. I was just gonna say a couple things. Number one, I don't blame RG for doing this. Why can't he make some money? Everybody else comes out with documentaries and books, giving all the secrets and behind the scenes of what happened with this team and with this organization. So why can't RG do it? I don't have a problem with him doing it. At the same time, though, RG better be careful contradicting himself because I remember very clearly back when those injuries happened, RG was fighting to be on the field for that. Now, he was a rookie. Kirk Cousins had played really well in the playoff game that Kirk Cousins came in and filled in for him, or regular season game before the playoff game, whichever one it was. But when Kirk Cousins filled in, he had played very, very well. Then the following week, I would have kept Kirk Cousins out there for the rest of the season, no matter how far they made it to the playoffs. If RG3 is our future, there's no reason to say,
there were reports that Washington was rushing him back. Like, so whether he wanted to play or not, everybody wants to play. I promise you, Patrick Mahomes wanted to play when he got the concussion in the game.
But if you want to play, it's not fair for you. If you want to play, though, it's not fair.
It's a coach's decision. No, absolutely. You can't say they rushed you back because now we're at the point where they rushed me back. Now I'm in the mood of playing ball because they rushed me to be out here. Now let me get out there. I think that's what you were saying.
So we might have different definitions.
Yeah, different understandings
of what rush back means to me. Because yes, if I don't want to play and I don't feel healthy and you tell me to play, okay, that's rushing me back. But if I'm fighting you to be on the field, I don't think you're rushing me back. I'm rushing myself.
I don't remember personally. I don't remember the reports of him fighting to be on the field.
Oh my gosh!
I remember all the reports
to get that start.
I remember all the reports of them rushing him back, and every analyst that I used to listen to, First Take, everybody that I used to listen to because I was a big sports show watcher back then. All of them were saying that he rushed him back. Even when he left and he wasn't there no more, they rushed him back. They should never rushed RG3 back. He messed up his leg. They rushed him back. They wanted to get him back on the field. Like teams are known for doing that. Teams are known for doing that, bro. Kawhi said the same thing about the Spurs, and the Spurs wasn't even. The Spurs is known for having a great training and rehab doctors and all that stuff. But they did it to Kawhi because they wanted Kawhi to get back on the field. Teams do it. But you got to understand I get what you're saying, Pete, and I can agree with you. Him fighting to get back out there, that's probably just the competitor in him. He's seeing Kurt about to take his job, like you're saying. Kurt's out there playing well. He's like, nah, fuck this leg. I got to get out there and show I can still do it. Just like GK says about Baker. Baker's only out there with one arm because I guess he got to show people he can do it. But no, if you're hurt, I agree with you. Stay out. Let that next guy that's up do what he got to do. You'll come back and get the start. Look at Nick Folks and Carson Wentz. Nick Folks didn't automatically get the start. Carson Wentz came back and he was inserted back into the starting lineup. So I think you're right in the fact that RGG could have got in his head, but ultimately for a player to play, it's on the team, not the player. It's on their doctors to clear him to play.
So the game where he got injured, the injury was not surgery. Surgery was not necessary for the injury. Then when he came back the following week, that's when he played on the leg and it winded up getting worse. And then he needed the surgery. He was fighting to be out there. I totally agree. As a competitor, I'm the same way. I'm sure we were all when we played sports. A small injury or something that we think is small, but we think we can still go out there and help and still play. You want to be out there. Absolutely. I just feel like RG3 being your number 2 overall pick behind Andrew Luck, that's not a chance or a risk you take, especially when you're letting the 20-year-old make the decision for himself. What do you think he's going to say? You know what I mean?
Most of them will.
Yeah.
And so absolutely, when it all boils down, it falls on the organization.
Tom Brady played on a bum leg all last year. Who you think choice was that?
Who'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Tom Brady played on a bum leg all last year. He admitted it after he won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Played on a bum leg all last year. That's why I don't take I'm hurt or I'm this as an excuse. Like, there are people that get out there and do it. RJ3 just couldn't get out there and do it. But what's your thoughts, Roy?
I mean, just about his book. I mean, all of his people are former players that were with him on the team and everything. They're just trashing him right now. I mean, they're just going in. I mean, you already said LeVar Arrington, Fred Smoot did as well. I mean, I get what these players are saying, because they're saying, like, why are you coming out with this now after everyone already knows? Like, because this isn't new stuff. I mean, it's a tell all. It's a tell all, but we kind of already know.
There's going to be stuff in there that he releases or reveals and puts in the light that we don't know. There's personal conversations he had with people without LeVar and them being around. So all his teammates can act like they know everything. They don't. Just like he can't say he know everything that happened with them when they was in the meetings with management and the coaches and stuff. They don't know what happened. They don't know what happened with his trainers and what his trainers were telling him. They only know what the coaches were telling them that the trainers were telling them. That's it. But words can get twisted.
He's in a position where, you know what? It happened to him. He's probably a little hurt over it. It's probably not the easiest thing watching Kirk Cousins still flourish in the league and you're out of the league. He's in a position to be able to write a book, come out with a documentary, whatever it may be, and wants to get paid. Go for it, bro. It's your opinion. It's your documentary. It's your book. You're free to say whatever you want to say. I'm not going to hate on the man for that because, like I said before, everybody does it nowadays. So you know what? If you can make a few dollars off of it, go right ahead. As long as you're telling the truth and you're giving your honest opinion, you're not throwing people under the bus, which he might do here and there or whatever. But the biggest thing is just don't be lying on guys. But now for other guys to be coming out and giving their opinion on things or whatever, you know what? Go write your own book as far as I'm concerned if you got something to say about it.
Fair enough.
And Washington has been Washington has been a disorganized franchise for I don't know how long anyway. So honestly, none of it surprises me anyway.
Dan Snyder has to go, first of all.
Oh my God.
I mean, I just don't like how he called it surviving Washington. I don't know. I'm just not really a big fan of that. Because like, what was R.
I mean,
Kelly there or something? I don't know.
Colin Kaepernick compared the.
That's the R. Kelly
NFL to
thing, right? That's what he's
slavery.
going
Yeah.
off of.
That's
Yeah.
Surviving R. Kelly.
They all what they do is clickbait, is to get people to go
Yes.
watch it. That's why they name it all these titles that
Crazy,
like, oh,
yeah.
surviving Washington, what happened? Is that like surviving R. Kelly? Did he get
He
molested?
should have named it
Oh,
Surviving
he said-
Kirk Cousins, because that's who he didn't survive with.
He said he was sexually harassed. How did they touch him? People are gonna go watch that. Like, but let's
Yeah.
move on, man. Let's because we got two big topics to talk about, and I want to get to them, bro. So we know Pete had this question a couple of weeks ago, and it was Eli, Ben, and Philip. You guys don't know, it's Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, and Philip Rivers. Who had the better career is the question. Now we got two with Super Bowl rings. We got one with no Super Bowl ring, but numbers. How is this going to go?
You know, what's funny is we always try to say that we don't want to be biased, but you know what? I feel like if you had a San Diego Charger fan on here, a Giant fan on here, and a Pittsburgh Steelers fan on here, they all would pick because I'm going to pick Eli. And one thing I say about all sports is I don't like judging a guy by championships, but it's completely different in a situation where you do what you do to get the championships that you got in this situation. And out of any championship in any sport, Eli had a very, very tough path to get to where he got to get those rings. It wasn't easy. Winning all the games on the road, going against the teams in crazy hostile environments, playing in freakishly cold weather, below zero temperatures. The first Super Bowl, starting off the season 0-2 and not even being looked as a Super Bowl team, you know, knocking off the Patriots with the undefeated record for a while until Philly won the Super Bowl, being one of the only players to even beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I gotta go Eli here. As far as careers, no guy has to hang their head down about anything. We would take these careers any day of the week. I get it. Philip Rivers would like to have that ring, but Ben Roethlisberger, the fact that they all came out at the same time and all that or whatever, you know, they just were, you know, all great quarterbacks, man, with all great seasons, all great postseasons and things like that. Just the one thing that sets Philip Rivers back is he doesn't have at least the one ring. Ben Roth, you know, I'm going Eli, man. The Super Bowls were just too big. If they were just like, okay, Super Bowl wins from Eli and he didn't contribute much, or his defense won the games for him, or he didn't win the games on the road, or he didn't make that crazy pass of breaking the tackle with the helmet catch. If you take all of that out the way, then maybe I'm like, you know what, Eli, you got 2 rings, but you know, your defense did it all for you, whatever. Eli was Super Bowl MVP in both those games for a reason. Roethlisberger has 2 Super Bowl rings. He wasn't MVP in both of them. He had defenses over there. He had other guys doing things on his team. So I'm going Eli, and trust me, I represent for being a Giants fan, but this is not a biased opinion. I truly and fairly do believe that I would rather have Eli's career. Absolutely.
Okay, so if you had to rank them,
but before you go, if you want to rank them 1, 2, 3, that would
that's
be
what
great.
I was gonna say.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. But before you rank them, Pete, I just want to let you guys know Philip numbers is amazing. He
amazing.
Leads,
I know it is.
He
I know.
leads in like touchdowns thrown, yards.
Antonio Gates.
Well, all 3 of them.
QBR.
Like, all 3 of them. This is Philip is that guy, but like you said, like Pete said, you got 2 championships, but not only 2 championships, Ben actually beat a tough Arizona team. You understand? Eli beat 2 tough Patriots teams, one of those teams being undefeated. So if I had to go, I would definitely rank them Eli, Ben, Phil. Before you go, Roy, Pete, rank them, please.
Eli, Ben, Phil. Well, obviously I got Eli number 1. Okay, I'll jump on that one. I guess. But like you said, man, Philip Rivers numbers can't be ignored. You say a tough Arizona team. Yeah, I mean, because it took to the final play to win that Super Bowl against Arizona.
Didn't they play in the Super Bowl twice?
Yeah, he has 2 rings. He has 2 rings.
But both against Arizona?
Well,
no.
Seattle. One against Arizona and one against Seattle, right?
No.
Who was the second one?
Seattle.
Who was
not
in the Super Bowl?
Who did he beat in the Super Bowl? It was Arizona and who? Don't make me go look it up.
Yeah,
So Phillip
Seattle. It
Rivers,
is
I mean-
Seattle. I was right.
It's
Yeah,
Seattle?
It's Seattle.
2006
Who was the
Seattle.
quarterback of that Seattle team?
Probably
Was it
Hasselbeck.
Hasselbeck?
Yeah,
It was
I just about to say
Hasselbeck.
that.
Okay,
Some
okay.
Hasselbeck.
You know what? You remember the Super Bowls that Russell Wilson made it to. You forget Hasselbeck got him to one. You completely forget that, man.
2006. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a blowout, right? If I remember correctly.
21-10. Yep.
Yeah. That was a blowout. Okay. Damn, I don't even remember that Super Bowl, man. Dang.
All right.
You have me
how you
questioning my
ranking
whole
them?
thing. All right, you guys are gonna,
Yeah.
y'all are gonna hate me, man. Y'all are gonna
No,
hate me.
we
I'll let
not.
you know now. No, I'm
He's
messing
putting
with you.
Eli last, Troy.
We know,
That's what that means.
we know what Eli is on in everybody's heart. You guys are mad that for a long time he was the only quarterback to beat Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady.
And you know what?
He the only team I think to be the undefeated team going into the Super Bowl. So we good.
Roy,
Go ahead,
before you
Roy.
go, before you go real quick, Roy, I made a point. I said if we had a San Diego Charger fan on here, a Steelers fan, and a Giants fan, but guess what? I didn't even realize Roy actually is a
He's a
Steelers
Steelers fan.
So
Yeah.
all we missing is the Chargers fan. That's it.
That's okay. This is not biased. Maybe we'll see. So 1, 2, and 3, I go Ben, Phillip, Eli. I put Eli last because, I mean, 4 Pro Bowl appearances, but his thing is the 2-time. I mean, obviously those rings are undeniable, and I'm not saying that Eli had a bad career.
Eli won his rings. He came into the playoffs wild cards. You got to take that.
Yes.
You got to take
Yeah,
that.
and this is what I'm saying. This is not to bash.
Every game was on
anyone.
the road, even the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, but okay, I hate to be the stats guy.
Phillip
man,
never
but
made it to a Super Bowl though. He never. How far has Phillip Rivers made it?
I don't
even
think he
with
made it
numbers?
past the AFC
AFC
championship. I
Championship.
believe.
That was it.
Yeah, but you also
So
got.
I don't understand how you put Eli last. Biased, unbiased.
Phillip-
I don't understand it.
Phillip has the stats.
The
Phillip has
stats
the
to show
stats.
for what though?
And probably with the worst arm out of all 3 quarterbacks.
What does he have to show? He had a great wide receiver his whole career.
I mean,
what does
completion
Phillip-
percentage,
Phillip
yards,
having those
touchdowns,
numbers, that's
QBR,
great.
interceptions.
That's great.
I mean,
that contributes
9-time
to the
Pro
team.
Bowler.
That contributes to the team around him too, just like Eli and Ben, and like Pete just said with Ben's defense. You understand? I'm not saying you got to put Eli second, but Eli's not last to Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers can even be a better quarterback than Eli Manning, but Phillip Rivers has not done what Eli did, and some people might say had more than what Eli had.
Well, how about this? Roy, you said this. Okay, you got Eli last. Okay, cool, no problem, right? But you being a Steeler fan, is it Ben's 2 Super Bowls that put him over?
It's more than that.
Phillip Rivers?
See, Ben has the Super Bowls and the stats. He has both. He's both. I mean, stats between Phillip
He
Rivers
does
and
have
Ben
better
are almost
stats than
similar.
Eli.
They're almost similar.
Almost, yes.
Yeah,
Interceptions
I mean-
is all by 1 point, by 1 interception.
I just feel like Eli did more with little, and that's got to stand out.
out for something.
I get what you're saying, but Ben has so many records compared to the other 2. I mean, Ben has 6-something records. He has most 500-yard passing games. He was the NFL passing leader 2 times, 6-time Pro Bowler, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Keep in mind, with these other 2 guys in the league, I mean, most completions in a regular season game, most passing yards in
Eli
a
played
league.
how many games in his first?
Eli's supporting cast just was never as good as
it
what Ben
wasn't.
Roethlisberger had over there, man. It just
Eli,
wasn't.
Eli played 7 games in 2004 when they got drafted, right? 2004 when they got drafted.
I think so. Yeah, 2004 is when they
He
drafted.
played 7 games. He went 1-6.
I
And
mean,
the Giants almost had Phillip Rivers. We almost had Phillip Rivers. We in that big
Ben,
trade.
for some reason, it says the Q break on Ben is 13-0.
and then
And then
player
Phillip
with
Rivers didn't
consecutive
even.
games.
The thing I don't understand about Phillip is he didn't even play his first 2 years. So how does he have these numbers?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he played
he
in
sat
2
behind Drew
my
Brees.
B, my B. He had Keenan Allen.
Got behind Drew Brees.
He had Keenan Allen. My B.
Yeah, I mean, I stick with my guns here, man, because I think it's Ben, Phillip, Ben, Phillip, and Eli, but it's not like a big jump.
No, it's not a gap. That's why I said
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad if you put Ben in front of Eli, but just to put Phillip in front of
Phillip has the stats.
But if you're saying Phillip goes in front of Eli just off stats, and then you don't
and
take
Pro
in
Bowls and comeback player of the year and NFL passing leader. Eli was never once the NFL passing leader.
Okay, and that's fine. But let's
touchdowns
let's
with
go look
Phillip
at
Rivers
some.
was.
Let's go look at some, right? So
Okay,
people,
I can
people
continue
always
with
talk
Phillip
about,
Rivers.
right? People always talk about
And Eli did have Tiki Barber. Eli had Tiki Barber, so they did run the ball. Before the Giants won that Super Bowl, which was right after Tiki Barber retired.
What was the other? Bradshaw. We had running backs. He didn't need to throw the ball. We had Plaxico. We had Steve. We had Nick. We had wide receivers, but we didn't need to throw the ball that much. And I'm not going to say that Eli is a better quarterback than Ben throwing the ball or Phillip. But what I'm saying is Phillip can have 8 Pro Bowls. He can have the 9 comeback player of the, well, it says 8 right here on mine. And I printed this out yesterday off of NBA.
Okay, Roy, I'll put it to you like this. NFL does Phillip Rivers get those? Do the Giants win the 2 Super Bowls if they don't make the trade for Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning?
No.
On draft day? You know that whole story, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so then I think you need to reconfigure your order.
Okay, I don't.
All right, Phillip never, since you want to pull accolades out, Phillip never won the Walter Payton Player of the Year.
Oh my God,
Walter,
that's Man of the Year. You don't even got to be a player. I could be a water boy and get that award. I don't want to hear that. Look, Phillip Rivers, most passing leader, touchdown leader, passing rating leader, completion leader. I mean, like Phillip has. I mean, Eli's never done that once. Not once. Any of those categories. Not once.
Let me tell you something.
If you just admitted that Phillip Rivers would not have gotten the Giants those Super Bowls if that trade on draft day did not take place, I don't see how you could have.
I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I think he would. I think they would.
He wouldn't.
I think they
would. He had a better team than Eli majority of his career and couldn't get them anywhere close to a Super Bowl or get there and lose it.
Now, is that Phillip Rivers' fault though?
Yes, it is Phillip Rivers' fault because Eli put the team on his back. Help with his defense, put the team on his damn back, went in everybody's house, 2 years, everybody's house, and stomped them with the help of his defense. Eli did that. It was Eli putting the ball in his receivers' places for his receivers to catch it. It was a team effort, but without Eli going out there and quarterbacking, let's go back to the David Tyrese catch, right? Without Eli escaping that sack, we lose the game. It doesn't even matter about the catch. Yeah, people want to get mad about the catch, but AB caught a ball on his leg and everybody went raw about it. But Tyrese catches it on a helping, and it's a lucky catch. I don't get that. Like, I literally don't get it. Eli, he's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's better than Ben, but if I'm looking at career and the totality over that career, I'm taking Eli before I take Phillip Rivers because the dude literally you cannot dismiss. And I think the 2 things you can say over Phil that would just end Phil in his numbers is that Eli literally went to the Super Bowl twice against the greatest quarterback of all time. The greatest quarterback of all time. Beat him twice. Not only did he do that, he beat him when he was undefeated. Undefeated. That undefeated season that he beat them at 19-0, whatever the record was, that puts him above Phil automatically to me. Phil, what did Phil do in his career that lives up to that one moment of Eli going on a wild card stint, busting everybody's ass, and then getting to the Super Bowl with an undefeated 19-0 Patriots team that's a Bill Belichick machine, and we beat them.
Being a consistent quarterback.
That doesn't go over. You could be as consistent as you want to be and still never have nothing to show for it. And that's my problem with Phil. Phil doesn't have anything to show for it. Eli's inconsistency, he has 2 rings to show for it. His inconsistency
he's very consistent
is what helped him
on the field every week too.
Until the other dude
Dino Smith BS.
Yeah, until he benched him. Like, you got to give Eli his respect. You want to put Ben in front of Eli, give you that. But Phil can go kick rocks. I'm not taking that.
I'm not taking that,
Rory. I'm not taking it, Rory.
We're going to have to agree to disagree. We're going to have to agree to disagree.
Phillip Rivers.
I'm dying on this hill, man.
Phillip Rivers would not win a Super Bowl if he was on the Giants team instead of Eli. But I'll be honest with you, you got to be fair and say it both ways. If Eli hadn't been on that Phillip Rivers team, I'm not sitting here saying that Eli would have won 2 or even won 1 Super Bowl if he was with the San Diego Chargers. I'm not saying that. So I don't want anybody to think that that's what that means.
No, because like I said, systems, you got to think about systems. Does Phillip Rivers fit in the Giants system the way they utilize Eli? And does Eli fit in the Chargers system the way the Chargers utilize Phillip Rivers?
That's why I said no. That's why I said no, because I just don't think Phillip Rivers would fit in the Giants system. That's my only reason I said no. If I'm talking about quarterback straight up.
But hold on a minute. But then after that, Roy, you said you changed your mind.
Because I wanted to make y'all mad.
No, we wasn't getting mad.
No, okay.
He said, I wanted to get into it. No, we like that here. We want that here. But let's move on. Roy, if you guys are listening, Roy has Ben, Phil, Eli, and me and Pete has Eli, Ben, Phil. It is what it is. We agree to disagree, but we move on in love. All right. So now we down to the last segment, wins and losses from the previous week. So week 14 is here, guys. Let's get into it right away. Minnesota beat Pittsburgh on Thursday. We kind of talked about it a little bit in our last show, but I had Minnesota and Minnesota beat them.
I had Pittsburgh, but I think this game was a trap game for Pittsburgh, man, because Minnesota coming off of a loss against Detroit, that was embarrassing to them. Everyone knew they were going to come into this game and be as hungry as all hell. And you know what? They showed it. They dominated. I mean, the Vikings kind of fell apart in the second half. Steelers decided to play too late and you end up losing. That's just how it is. But hats off to that Vikings team. I mean, you got to give it to them. They played from losing to the worst team in the NFL. You sure didn't look like that team the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
Next game.
No, I mean, Dalvin Cook went off. He rushed for over 200 yards in that game. It was actually pretty pathetic that Minnesota even let Pittsburgh come back in that game. I think we and Troy touched on it before the other episode because it was the Thursday night game. So we kind of talked about this game already, but I'll just repeat what I said then. You're up a ton of points. Your running game can't be stopped. And then all of a sudden, now you want to throw the ball with Kirk Cousins. He throws 2 late interceptions and he lets Pittsburgh come back into that game where Pittsburgh actually, if the tight end Freiermuth makes that catch, you're talking a 2-point conversion away from bringing this game to overtime. It should have never even got to that point. But Minnesota pulled it out and Dalvin Cook is pretty unstoppable.
Would have been the largest comeback in NFL history.
Yeah, that was it.
Right.
29 points.
29 points, yep.
All right, we got Baltimore versus Cleveland. I took Baltimore, but I did not take into consideration that Lamar ankle will get all twisted up. And
I
had Baltimore also. Yeah,
I had Cleveland going into it. I just really think Cleveland is just one of those teams, man, where they play anyone in their division and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, that's the whole AFC North, to be honest with you. Yeah. But
that division more than any is like that.
Exactly. I mean, it's the best division in football. I mean, whether you hate everyone in that division or not, I mean, you can look at the records; they don't lie. There's no front runner really. I mean, and it's competition. I think it was going to be a close one. It's a dogfight. It always is when they play each other. I don't know what made me give it to. This is without the whole Lamar injury and everything. I still had Cleveland because they fight against them. They always do.
Yeah, when Lamar always find a way to pull it out. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say when he said what he says about that division, when he says that's the best division, he doesn't necessarily mean based on wins and losses. But correct me if I'm wrong, Roy. You more mean as far as everybody's competitive with each other.
Yes, 100%.
There's no clear front runner in that division.
Exactly.
Anybody, any week can beat anybody in that division. Everybody is almost so evenly matched, which is why out of nowhere, Cleveland won that division last season and was able to beat Pittsburgh in that playoff game. Not to mention that, Roy, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But not to bring back that memory, but that's why. So that division is like, who wants it, who doesn't want it. It's going to come down to the last week, most likely. So as much as me and Troy hate on Baker Mayfield and think he needs to play better and things like that, we at the same time can't be surprised if Cleveland's at the end of the day the one winning that division.
All right, next up we got Jacksonville versus Tennessee. And Uncle Frank, where you at? Tighten up.
Oh man.
Yeah, Uncle Frank had to get this win because if Uncle Frank had a lot of excuses when Jacksonville actually beat Tennessee earlier in the season. It was, we were missing wide receivers and this and that and that and this or whatever. So Tennessee definitely took care of business. They shut Jacksonville out. I've been saying Jacksonville cannot score points. Plain and simple. They can't. They cannot score points. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is a bust. I would never say that after one season, but the rookiness shows. The head coach, Urban Meyer, being a rookie head coach with that team shows. He keeps a lot of drama going. They don't have a ton of weapons over there. Jacksonville is a rebuild. They're I don't want to call them up and coming because they aren't doing much yet, but you got to be up and coming before you're a winner. So Jacksonville is way out of their league this season, way out of their league.
Yeah, Tennessee handled business like they were supposed to. I mean, nothing special about it. I mean, this Jacksonville team is dysfunctional from ownership down, and that's just how it is. It's organization's been like that for a while. I think Urban Meyer needs to go somewhere else, and they never should even have brought him in the first place.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jackson.
Rumor has it. Owner came out this week and said he's letting Urban stick around. He wants to keep rebuilding with him.
And that's just ignorance.
Well, you need to give him I get tired of this coaches, and I don't really talk much when we're doing the wins and losses, but I get tired of this giving coaches 1-2 years and then you want to kick them out. Like me and GK was talking about this last night about Todd Bowles. I think Todd Bowles should have coached a lot longer than he did with the Jets. But you guys would be so quick to just throw these damn coaches away like they're replaceable, and then you get these guys in there and they make your team worse, and then you got to fire them next year, and now you need another coach. Now it's 3 coaches in the span of 2 years, and it's like, yo, what are the players going to build? They ain't going to have camaraderie. They ain't going to have no
consistency. I get what you're saying, but look, this team, the players, I mean, the reports are out. The players don't trust him. They don't like him.
I mean, that could be true. That could be true.
I get what you're saying. In a normal situation, yes. I'm not saying just that's it, you're done. But in this situation,
an owner is always going to take the player side before he takes the coach's side.
And the players don't like him. That's just plain and simple. They're frustrated. They don't listen to him. They don't think he's a good coach.
Yeah, and let me touch on one thing too. You mentioned the Todd Bowles thing. Well, guess what? At the time of getting fired, okay, maybe Todd Bowles wasn't happy. But since getting fired, he's won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay as their defensive coordinator. And ready for this? He's the highest paid defensive coordinator in all of football right now. So you know what? Todd Bowles getting fired from the Jets might have been a blessing in disguise.
No, it was.
They're as dysfunctional as ever.
No, it definitely was. It definitely was. But moving on, we got Kansas City and Vegas. I had Kansas City. I knew the Raiders wouldn't get it done.
Yeah. Kansas City has completely turned things around after looking like not the old Kansas City that we've been used to. I actually said because Vegas, as of recently, over the last few weeks, has played better with everything going on with their team over this season. They've actually been playing good. They had beat the Dallas Cowboys. They've been scoring points recently. I actually thought this would be a high-scoring game. I thought Vegas could actually compete with them, not win the game, but at least put up points. Because as we know, Vegas actually over the last couple of seasons has actually gotten a win or two against Kansas City. They actually played them pretty well. But no, Kansas City is now clicking on all cylinders right now. So yeah, Vegas got destroyed.
Kansas City's back, baby. I thought it would have been a lot closer game. I didn't think it would have been a blowout. But I mean, the Raiders, they kind of messed up when they're doing that stuff pregame when they're over there stomping on the Chiefs logo or taking a pitch on the Chiefs logo. You're setting yourself up for a disaster just doing that. But I mean, they just didn't. I don't know. The Raiders team just didn't look like that Raiders team we saw last week before that. And Kansas City just was firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, Pete, you always said don't come out here and bust some bunkie, and then the next week you get your bunkie bust. Like that's not how it's supposed to happen.
That's not yep.
But the next game we got is New Orleans versus the Jets. I just knew that New Orleans would win this game.
Yeah, I picked New Orleans also. I thought Jets maybe coming off the win the week before. Not 100% trusting Taysom Hill. I thought maybe the Jets could have a chance and it could be a small little upset there, but I still was picking New Orleans and New Orleans got it done. Alvin Kamara came back, played great.
Yeah, I agree. Kamara came back. It just shows how important he is to that offense in general. I mean, you saw how they were without him. Saints took care of business.
Yeah, so now we got Dallas and Washington. I was going to go Washington this game because we did talk previously about Washington being a tough matchup for Dallas.
I like Washington.
This is going to be Dallas's toughest thing going down towards the end of the season because they play Washington one more time. But I did pick Dallas to win. I did not pick Washington. I picked Dallas last second, and Dallas pulled out the win.
Yeah, I picked Washington with the upset. I didn't like the fact that Mike McCarthy was guaranteeing victory over this week, but you know what? He knew his team could do it. The game shouldn't even have been that close. They let Washington completely come back into the game after Dallas was blowing them out early. But you know what? Mike McCarthy was right. He predicted it and it came true. Washington, anyway, let's be real, with this little 4-game winning streak they've been on, they've completely exceeded expectations and played better than what they really were. There was a game or two, including the last one that they had where they won with a field goal at the end. So that could have easily went the other way and they could have lost and it wouldn't have even been a 4-game winning streak. So Washington has definitely gotten some wins that maybe necessarily they weren't picked to get and have definitely been playing above what their expectations probably were, or at least everyone else's expectations were. But that doesn't mean anything. You can't take anything away from it. If you're winning games, you're winning games. But Dallas has now still eventually has proved that we're the team to win the NFC East. Thank you, Washington, for making it a little more competitive. Thank you for not letting us run away with the division. Thank you, for making us have to look in our rearview mirror at you. But no, after this win, they've made it clear that you played good over the last few weeks, but you're not better than us.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think this was supposed to be my upset of the week. So I definitely thought that Washington was going to come in with the chip on their shoulder and say, hey, you don't have this division under locks. I don't know why you're acting like you do. And also with the whole Mike McCarthy thing of guaranteeing a win, I don't do anything that guaranteeing stuff. Nothing's guaranteed in sports. We all know that. Yep. I mean, and I always hear
Charles anything, Barkley that fires the other team up.
Exactly.
That fires the other team up.
So, they tried to make a comeback late in the game. Dallas let them back in, but they just came up short in the end.
All right. We got Atlanta versus Carolina, and I'm making an announcement. Right here. Carolina is being added to the list with the Detroit
Lion list? Oh,
you will not get a T next to your
name. They've been letting us down, man.
The rest of this damn season. And I know it's only a couple of weeks left, but come on, Cam Newton. I thought you was going to do something, all right? But you didn't do it.
He's bad. Oh no, he's not. No. I mean, this Carolina team, man. Obviously, no McCaffrey for the rest of the year, and then they're just putting in PJ Walker back and forth with Cam Newton. I mean, Cam just had that little 2-game stretch where he did good, and then it's just back to what we thought. I mean, I'm not going to speak for everyone else, but what we thought Cam was going to be. I've expected this. I think a lot of other people did as well. It was cool to see him come back for a game or two and be good, but this Carolina Panthers team is so dysfunctional as well. I mean, coming into the year, we thought this was going to be one of the toughest defensive teams in the league. They're young and up and coming, and it's so disappointing to see them just fall so short of that. But Carolina, maybe next year, man.
Yeah, I'm with Troy, man. They might have to go on that list, man, even though I tend to still be picking Detroit for certain games, but Carolina, man. But this is no knock on Cam Newton. I actually think Cam Newton could still play in this league. I think he's just on a very bad team, and the team's even worse when their best player is out for the rest of the season and Christian McCaffrey. If you give him a little bit better of a team, a few more weapons, or at least Christian McCaffrey out there, I mean, look what Taysom Hill was able to do. I get it, the Jets aren't that great, but look what Taysom Hill was able to do and how much better he looked just by having Kamara next to him. Well, that's the same thing for a guy like Cam Newton if you put Christian McCaffrey next to him, so Carolina, man, you're just not a good football team through and through, man. You're just not. And you're going to waste a lot of Christian McCaffrey's prime years if you don't put a better supporting cast around him. It might not mean changing the quarterback, but you better bring some wide receivers, a tight end, have a better defense that can, play better for you because, Christian McCaffrey's an all-world talent. The injuries is hurting him a little bit. So, yeah.
All right. We got Seattle versus Houston. I took Seattle.
Yeah, Houston definitely should be on that list. They benched Tyrod Taylor. They put in the rookie. Don't make a damn difference. Okay. Houston is just not good at all. As far as I'm concerned, man, I like the Detroit Lions over Houston and over who was the other one we just said?
Carolina.
That we said we're not picking Carolina. Yeah, not just Carolina. There was one other team I had. In Jacksonville. That's what I was looking for. I think Jacksonville and Houston are the two worst teams in the NFL. I like Detroit Lions better than I like them. So even though they got a couple more wins than the Detroit Lions, that doesn't mean anything to me. The Detroit Lions, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you can even throw the Jets in there. Please, I'll take the Detroit Lions over them, man.
Yeah, I think that man, this Texans organization itself is just insane. I mean, I think this might be a team that gets a 30 for 30 just for how terrible the decisions have been over these past couple of years.
DeAndre Hopkins
get a 30 for 30 with the quarterback.
Yeah, with Deshaun Watson, and God knows what's going to happen with that. But they also
they said the case is
DeAndre Hopkins. They should have never let him go.
Yeah, but they also got rid of Zach Cunningham, the guy they gave a huge contract to. I mean, they cut him. They released him. They couldn't get anything from him.
Because teams ain't stupid, they know they can just pick them up if they get
exactly. So it's just like you're signing these players to huge, massive contracts just to cut them. You gave them this contract at the beginning of the year, and then we're so many weeks deep, and time to get rid of them. Cut them. It didn't work out. Like it's just like this is why this organization isn't going anywhere. I mean,
even JJ Watt bashed him. JJ Watt had no problem letting his feelings out about that team.
Agreed. I mean, as they should. But this year, I think they're the, if not the worst, the next to worst team in the NFL, regardless of record. With how you said, I agree with you wholeheartedly. In Seattle, Seattle came up on top. No surprise there.
Right. I mean, at least Detroit plays hard. I mean, Jacksonville and Houston. Jacksonville can't even score points, and Houston can't get the quarterback situation figured out. At least Detroit is in games.
We get into Detroit right now. Detroit versus Denver. I had Denver winning. I don't want to hear this Detroit stuff. Just let's move along.
Denver,
I actually picked Detroit. I picked Detroit with the upset over Denver. I didn't like the way Denver looked the week before. Denver looked terrible the week before, man.
So did Detroit.
They won the week before.
They still look terrible.
Or whatever that was. Yeah. I gave them a chance. Denver, man, it's like 1 week you win, 1 week you lose, 1 week you win. Yeah, I can't figure Denver out, so I gave Detroit a chance,
man. You picked the Giants to win this game too, didn't you?
Against the Chargers? Come on, man. You remember
I don't see.
Review the tape. We both had the Chargers, man.
I don't see how you don't pick Denver Broncos over the whole Demaryius Thomas stuff, man. That's who they were playing for against Detroit.
You're right.
I'm just saying that's an emotional game, and you know how hard 100%. They were playing with that. I mean, Justin Simmons getting that diving interceptions, putting it on number 88. It was a dominating game from Denver, man. I'm so glad they came out and won. It just showed how much Demaryius Thomas meant to that organization as well.
Yeah, great guy, man. Rest in peace, DT. All right, we got Chargers versus Giants. Don't think we need to spend much time on that one either. I got the Chargers. I had the Chargers winning. They won. It's an easy game.
Yeah. Glad the Giants lost. Let's get a better draft pick.
We had Glennon. They need to get
Mike Glennon. That's the guy. That's the future.
But they better find one of these damn stud wide receivers that everybody keep finding. Justin Jefferson, Claypool, the dude on a Dallas,
CeeDee Lamb. Yeah.
Find one of these damn studs and.
Hey man, Justin Herbert's real, man. I like Justin Herbert a lot, and he always just comes out and shows up. Obviously, the Giants don't have their quarterback, so I mean, how much can he really measure on this game?
Yeah.
But if Phillip Rivers was on the Chargers and Eli was on the Giants right now, who would win this game?
Eli.
Here we go. No,
Eli will win the game.
All right.
Eli.
Listen, I wouldn't, as a Giants fan, I wouldn't even make an excuse that we didn't have Daniel Jones. I don't think that would have made a difference.
I'm not making an excuse. I don't think fan made that.
It doesn't.
No. Roy had said, we didn't have our quarterback this week.
That's why I said the non-Giants fan made that excuse. He tried to give us one, but we don't want that, Roy. We don't want it, Roy.
Then don't take it. You don't got it.
We're not. We're moving on to San Fran and Cincinnati, and I had Cincinnati winning, but San Fran whooped their ass.
Yeah, same here. I had Cincinnati. San Fran, I came off the loss that I thought they lost to Seattle. I thought, with Seattle being so bad and the 49ers have been playing pretty well, I thought the 49ers would get that win. But you know what? They bounced back and now beat the Bengals. So, 49ers are still trying to hang around. They did it without their running back, Elijah Mitchell, who's been running like crazy. But, next man up type of thing over there, and they got it done.
That's what Kyle Shanahan's known for, is just the next man up mentality. So they really showed that. But man, I'm gonna correct you, man. This was an ass whooping until they let the Bengals back in the game. This game went to overtime.
Yeah.
The 49ers were up big early. Looks like the game was over, and then they let Cincinnati
the same thing almost
right back into the
Browns.
game. Yeah, they let them right back into the game and went to overtime.
And that's
Joe Burrow
put them away. Put them away. Like, I hate all this damn. The score is too large. Let's have some courtesy for the other team. Nigga, I'm putting 100 up on the board. If you can't stop me, you can't stop me.
That was the story of this week. Minnesota let Pittsburgh back in the game, okay? Dallas let Washington back in the game. The 49ers let the Bengals back in the game.
Yes.
Okay, and what about the next one we're about to talk about? Tampa Bay let Buffalo back in the game. That went to overtime.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm moving on. Tampa Bay versus Buffalo. I took Tampa, and Tampa almost lost that game. Man. I had Tampa also. Josh Allen didn't do anything until that fourth quarter came around. Josh Allen lit it up. I actually was going against Josh Allen in fantasy. I'm over here super happy. The guy's doing nothing. He's putting up no points. And the next thing I know, the guy's in overtime and he put up 35 fantasy points on me. So, Buffalo, man, this could have, I think me and Troy, when we were making our picks this week, we were like, listen,
before the season, this would have been picked as a pre-Super Bowl possible matchup. But the way Buffalo has looked over the last several weeks, man, they're showing you that they're not ready for that stage.
That's what I like about that's what I like about football. It's more unpredictable. You don't know what team's gonna make it. In basketball, you know what team's going. It's top 4 teams from each conference gonna make it. We know that. But with football, you just never know.
Yeah, I had Tampa Bay in this one as well, just because the Bills are notorious for struggling against Tampa Bay.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just how it's
Tough
been
defense.
for the past year. Exactly. They've always struggled against Tampa Bay. And this Bills team, man, you're on the outside looking in now. You know, what's going to happen with this Bills team? I mean, like, I think everyone at the beginning of the year said that this was a potential Super Bowl team. And I think that rightfully so. And then you just go out and just see how they consistently underperform on both sides of the ball. And you're like, okay, I kind of don't see this anymore. And now there's a chance that they don't even make the playoffs. So who knows?
Excuse me. All right, next game we got Chicago versus Green Bay. I took Green Bay.
Absolutely.
Easy.
Aaron Rodgers, as he says, he owns Chicago, although Chicago got off to a great start in that game. Chicago got off to a great start and made it competitive. But once the second half rolled around, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams went off. And just like I expected them to do.
I mean, I had Green Bay in this one as well. I think Chicago really messed up when they started celebrating after sacking Aaron Rodgers, because they did the belt thing that he did. Yeah, the discount double check thing. And like, you know, when you try to intimidate Aaron Rodgers, it always comes back and bites you in the butt, especially if you're a team from Chicago named the Bears.
Right.
Like I think that was no surprise to anyone that Green Bay won. But if you're Chicago, man, just stop with all the antics, man. You're just making it worse.
Be like the Lions, bro. Just take your ass whoopings.
Just take your L and move on. Take your L and move on.
Whoopings on your ass and move on. But last game of the week, last night's game, we had the Rams versus Arizona. I thought Arizona would win this game because I was listening to these guys tell me Kyler Murray wasn't hurt, Pete and Uncle Frank and all these other guys. He not hurt. They just rested him. You know, the backup quarterback, he did good and this, that, and the third. You wasn't here, Roy, for my pat myself on the back, but I pat myself on the back today for saying that Kyler Murray was hurt, and he showed it yesterday because he had 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Yeah. I mean, I had the Rams in this one, and I don't know if you guys remember the last time I was on here, I was going off on the Rams and telling you how terrible they were playing when they all that 3-game losing streak. And then they come back in this one, and man, they also kind of did the same thing as every other team this week and let Arizona back into the game late. But I mean, this Rams team is real. I mean, I like them again. Cooper Kupp actually made an appearance, which is great. I mean, he hasn't disappeared, but he's actually, scoring touchdowns.
I saw people on Facebook calling him the best wide receiver in the game right now. How is it that we change the best wide receiver in the game every year? He's not the best wide receiver in the game, bro.
No.
Has Adams, Green Bay Adams, played every game?
He missed one game.
One
game because of COVID.
How similar are the teams? Can Aaron Rodgers spread the ball around more than Matt Stafford out there?
Not compared to him.
No.
Okay, then. So
Aaron Rodgers does not have the weapons. No.
Right. So Aaron Rodgers had one target he has to throw to. When he missing that target, then who does he?
Lazard, Valdez,
Cooper Kupp is having an amazing season.
Yeah,
he's having the best receiving.
What I'm saying is
all wide receivers.
What I'm saying
does not make him the best wide receiver.
Right. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this is something regular. We see this on a regular basis. Some wide receiver comes out, the woodworks, just like running backs come out the woodworks. They have a good year, and the next year it ain't nothing. Look at Ty Gurley. Right. Look at Dante Freeman. Even though I like Freeman getting some burn now. And, there's other running backs that I could put their names on the list of wide receivers that, had a good year and came out. I haven't heard anybody say Robbie Anderson name all year since that big catch he had early in the season.
Because Robbie Anderson's not even existent on that Carolina team anymore. He's not even a factor. Not even close.
As far as me, I had Arizona also. I picked Arizona mainly because the Rams had one signature win all season. It was week 3 against Tampa Bay. Other than that, the Rams had nobody on their resume that they beat that were good teams or looked at as going to the playoffs. They all have terrible records. They're just winning. Now, let me get wrong. You got to play the team that's in front of you. You don't control what the other team's record is. But at the same time, yeah, okay, you're racking off wins and it's going to be enough to get you in the playoffs. But what's that mean when you have to place a good team in the playoffs and you've only beat one good team all season? So I think this was a huge, huge, huge statement game for the Rams. They finally beat a serious good team. Odell Beckham looks like he knows the offense now. That's 2 weeks in a row with a touchdown out of him. Cooper Kupp is still putting up amazing freaking numbers. I mean, there was one drive yesterday where Cooper Kupp caught every pass on the drive. It was like, I think he went like 5 for 6 to Cooper Kupp on one drive, and then Odell capped it off with a touchdown. Like, you even know the ball's going to Cooper Kupp and you can't stop him. So Rams finally got that signature win, because that win against Tampa Bay, we don't even remember anymore. It came so long ago. So good for them to beat a good team, and the Rams are letting you know, don't count us out just yet.
All right. And we're at the end of the show. So final thoughts, man. Roy, final thoughts. What's your final thoughts, man?
My final thoughts is that Chase Claypool stop making TikToks on the field and stop celebrating, man, and give the ball to the damn ref. That's my final thought. And you know what?
Man.
Or how about don't make it a terrible excuse for why you did it. Just be like, I was wrong and that's it.
That's what I'm saying.
What
Be
you say?
accountable.
He said something about, oh, well, I did my little first down thing, and then I tried to give the ball to the referee.
And it was
but then the
smacked
ball
out of my
fell.
hand.
Yeah, it was smacked
They
out.
were.
Right?
They was fucking with him though, but that's normal. They do that to everybody.
You screwed up.
That's what I'm saying.
They,
But you don't
they
do
literally
that.
lay on top of you so you can.
Yeah.
So,
Man, come on. Stop celebrating.
Pete, final thoughts.
I'm gonna keep it real simple, and I'm gonna go right back to my opening message today, which is Steph Curry tonight against the Knicks, breaking that record. I say it all the time. I love my shooters, and even if I didn't love my shooters, the whole world, we all love Steph Curry, okay? And we're in awe by the things he does, and this is gonna be a really cool record. I'm looking forward to see exactly how New York embraces what he does, the stoppage in action that's going to take place once he makes the three, the timeout that's going to be called for him to wave to the crowd and for everybody to clap, for them to take that ball off the court and give it to him to be put up somewhere to maybe go into the Hall of Fame or wherever that ball goes. I'm looking forward to seeing all that. That's going to be really, really special. And I'm happy for the guy that he was able to do that, man. Who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought, man? And it's pretty cool, actually, also to be doing this in the world's most famous arena in Madison Square Garden.
And I'm going to leave my final thoughts off with a question to the people that's watching. If you get this far in the video, I want you to leave a comment down below and tell me, where does Baker Mayfield rank amongst quarterbacks in the league today? All right? Thank you guys for watching. Much love from the sideline to you guys. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget, we're going to be up on Apple Music and Google Podcasts soon. I'm going to stay tuned, man. We want to thank Rory for stopping by again, and we want to welcome him on board of this family at From the Sideline. We just started our group chat messaging, so it got real in there last night. So it's going to get a lot of fun and a lot more fun on these shows. So you guys got to stay tuned, man. But yeah, without any further ado, man, I'm Troy. I want to thank my co-host Pete. I want to thank Roy again, man. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.